Hard to believe as we look deep where the Minnesota Vikings will receive the kickoff. That's Eddie Payton, the Craig Morton. Began his playing career in the NFL back in 1965. He's still around, leading all the quarterbacks in the number department after 8 weeks of the 1981 NFL season. We're set to go. Fred Steinfort will kick off. Capacity crowd, over 75,000 on hand. Steinfort booms it deep. Eddie Payton stays in the end zone. It'll be a touchback. The crowd likes it already. They sense they already have a victory. And the Minnesota Vikings will move out with their offensive unit. That, of course, headed by Tommy Kramer. And a pair of backs, Ted Brown and Ricky Young. But Ted Brown is the workhorse for the Vikings, number 23. Ricky Young has gained 85 yards rushing this season. And the leading rusher is Ted Brown with 508. 88, by the way. Ricky Young, that's he's the second leading rusher, so you know what he does. And offensively, the tight end, Joe Sensor, has helped the Vikings, Fran.
Yeah, he has. He gives them a receiver there that can get deep from the tight end position, jumps well for the ball.
Tommy Kramer, still wearing the knee brace from a preseason injury, brings the Vikings up, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. That's Sensor in motion. Ted Brown tries the left side. And he's met there defensively by Gradishar, Jones, Reuben Carter. And let's meet the defensive unit of the Denver Broncos. There they are, the front three, and there's going to be trouble in the secondary if Louis Wright, who damaged either his ankle or his calf, we've had mixed reports in the pregame warm-up, cannot go tonight. They'll miss Louis Wright.
They sure will, because he still remains one of the premier cornerbacks in the league. That was Ted Brown's 150th carry. To show you how they use the pass, the next number of carries by Ricky Young, number 28. So the Vikes live by the pass.
2nd down and 8. Kramer's back. Everyone in the pattern. Fires it out. Complete to Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad Rashad picks up the 1st down, timing it out beautifully, right over the 30-yard line. 1st and 10, Minnesota. Aaron Kyle there defensively. Replacing Louis Wright in the lineup thus far is Perry Smith. He came from the Cardinals a year ago, started there for 3 years, but while Perry Smith has played well for the Broncos as a 5th man in their defensive secondary, he is not an all-pro like Louis Wright. 1st and 10, 31-yard line of Minnesota. We're just underway from Denver, Colorado. Sammy White in motion for the Vikings. Again, everyone in the pattern. Sensor, and he is picked up, covered well by Larry Evans, incomplete.
Jeff, the thing that makes the Vikings offense so tough to defend is that Kramer uses all of his receivers. They use a multiple formation. You cannot double the outside guys, because if you do, you've left Ted Brown or Joe Sensor single with linebackers, and that you don't want to do.
And of course, tonight, the Minnesota Vikings go against the #1 defense in the National Football League. They are the absolute very best against the pass. They have pressured the quarterback this year far more intensively than they did a year ago, and right now we have the passing situation. And the Broncos have brought in their 4th man. That's Greg Boyd, number 77, the pass rush. Fired and is complete. Ted Brown out of the backfield. He is also the leading receiver for the Vikings. Far short of the 1st down, up over the 35-yard line.
The very point Fran just made. Vikes have had run 4 plays, 3 quick rhythm passes, which is the key to their whole offense, quick rhythm passes, and they live by the pass. And it's very hard to defend. And that's why tonight, Dan Reeves is going to open up. You'll see Denver trying to stay apace on the scoreboard with Minnesota.
3rd down and 5. Terry LeCount, number 80, joins Ahmad Rashad and Sammy White as wide receivers. 4 excellent receivers when you include Joe Sensor. Kramer has to throw it away as Sensor was picked up and covered well by a man that has perhaps made the big difference defensively for Denver this year, Bob Swinson. It'll be 4th down. The crowd loves it, and the punting unit for Minnesota comes on.
You're sure right about Swinson. He was a free agent from the University of California, Berkeley, and nobody paid much attention to him. It turned out that even with the greatness of Gradishar and the quickness of Tommy Jackson, in a strange way, Swinson became the stable man in that linebacker department, which is great.
Of course, he missed all last year. He is back and playing well. Greg Coleman will punt. You got a quick look at Wade Manning, number 83, deep for the Broncos. Manning at his 16-yard line. Tries to get behind the picket line, breaks the tackle and moves out to the 23-yard line on a 48-yard punt by Greg Coleman. Robin Sinline was down there defensively. So the Denver Broncos, with a victory tonight, they'll move into a tie with San Diego, and Kansas City will have their first possession of the night.
I can tell a real cowboy from the drugstore kind, clean across Texas.
Over a period of 11 years, and the offensive unit for the Broncos on the field. First and 10 from the 24-yard line. Morton opens up, going deep. Rick Upchurch is there, and overthrown. Rick Upchurch, who came back to help the passing attack for the Broncos 3 weeks ago from an early knee injury, has given Danny Reeves the speed that he needs to get deep.
He was, of course, a key figure in the opening game victory of the season against Oakland with a controversial pass catch. As you look at the Denver Broncos offensive line now and previously the backfield. But Upchurch, interestingly, is no longer used on kick runs because Dan Reeves doesn't want him hurt anymore. That's why you saw Wade Manning on the last kick run.
Second down and 10. Single setback. That's Rick Parros. Morton again to the air. Fired is complete. Riley Odoms struggles trying to get up for the first down. He should be just a little short. He's in the arms of Fred McNeil, one of the fine core of linebackers in the league today, represented, of course, by McNeil and Matt Blair, Jeff Seaman, and Scott Studwell.
Giff, it is a different Denver offense than what we've been used to seeing in years past. It's the Dallas offense. Dan Reeves was trained there. He's brought it here to Denver. It's wide open, and they are airing that ball out already.
Danny Reeves very candid about getting the ball in the air tonight, opening the game up, as he put it. Third down and 1 now. The Broncos offensive unit looks it over. And off of Lytle. And Lytle gets the first down. Out over the 35 to the 37. Rob Lytle, only 6 attempts coming into tonight's game, but he gets the first down for the Broncos as they are marching up the field.
I suspect we're going to see a lot more of Tony Reed tonight because of Dan's desire to open things up. When they go to the ground, they're going to go to Tony.
Tony Reed acquired, of course, from Kansas City. Kansas City fans remember him well. Now in his 5th year, had some fine years for the Chiefs. First down and 10 for the Broncos. They're on the 37-yard line. Riley Odoms in motion. Quickly, Morton fires out to Upchurch, gets a screen block, cuts back inside, and over midfield. Rick Upchurch gets a first down, and he got a crushing block by Dave Studdard, who tonight had to open a right tackle because of an injury to Claudie Minor.
Here you see an ISO and Upchurch. It's just a little quick screen. You'll see Studdard come out in front of him. They faked a trap inside. Got Studdard out on John Turner. He makes the block. The other linemen get into the act. And Upchurch has a good gain in a first down.
The ball at the 49-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Parros and Reed now the setbacks. Reed, number 32. And this is Tony Reed. Good cutback. Picks up a block. A quick 7 yards. Upended by Jeff Seaman.
There's Tony Reed, of whom we just spoke. Yes, you'll see a lot of him tonight. And if you like football, you got to love Rick Upchurch. He's a game breaker. He really is.
Billy Bryan, the center for Denver, is down. Bryan, who anchors the middle of the offensive line, now being treated out on the field. And we'll be returning to Denver in just a moment. And you could almost read his lips saying, I'm okay, but they're going to look at the left ankle of Billy Bryan. Meanwhile, they have brought in Glenn Hyde, who is a backup man of both guard, tackle, and center. He wears number 65. The ball at the 42-yard line of Minnesota, second down and 3. Ron Egloff, number 85, adjusts. This is Preston. Preston very close to another Denver first down inside the 40-yard line. Dave Preston and Rick Parros, the two backs that you see most for Denver, are almost duplicates of Danny Reeves. They run the ball the way he used to run the ball with Dallas. They're very steady. They're very reliable, sure-handed. They seldom fumble. And that's what Danny Reeves was when he was a Dallas Cowboy for all those years.
If, as we look at the measurement here, the Vikings have been the old traditional 4-man line defensive line. You remember Marshall and Page and Eller and Larson. Now they've gone to a 3-man line like so many teams have. Let's look at the measurement here, see if he made it. He's got it.
By that much.
And Giff, they did that for a real reason. The Vikings didn't play the run very well. The 3-man line is a better defense against the run, and they are playing the run better. If you look at Harry Peter Grant, better known as Bud.
More than that, Fran, they developed their strength at the linebacker position with Blair, with McNeil, with Studwell, and with Seaman.
Absolutely.
First down and 10, 39-yard line. Broncos moving the ball. 9:30 and the clock is moving. Remaining here in the first quarter. This is the toss. Tony Reed, he pulls up. Not fooling the Minnesota defensive unit, and is picked off. John Turner, perhaps the best of that secondary. No, this is Willie Teal, who is improving, and he was not fooled at all by Tony Reed's effort to make it look like run. And we have our first turnover of the night. Willie Teal with the interception.
Well, Dan told us the truth, Frank. They're going to lay it up there, and they're going to try to do things. End zone look.
Here it is. Craig just pitches out to Reed. Let's see if he makes much of a fake on the run. Wasn't that bad a fake, really. But Willie Teal was running back down the field the entire way. He was down there. He had help down there from Tommy Hannon, and the ball never got to Steve Watson. And he makes a pretty good run with it, Giff, after he gets the ball.
Indeed he does. Willie Teal moving it out to the 25-yard line, where the Minnesota Vikings will be in good field position. The Broncos had moved smartly down the field. They get the interception, and Minnesota has the ball back.
Last year, the train company promised you new, better, more...
Carnival time in Denver, Colorado. Sellout crowd. Minnesota Vikings have turned the football over. They have it back at their own 25-yard line. Interception, Willie Teal from Tony Reed. First down and 10. Toss, Ted Brown. Brown, Ned right at the line of scrimmage. First man there, Tom Jackson, number 57. Brown surges for about a yard and a half. It'll be second down and 9.
They run the ball on first down, Fran, presumably to try to induce the defense to think that they're going to employ a ground game.
Well, they run
then
the ball.
They'll go right to the pass.
They run it a little bit better this year than they have in the past, but and the truth is they're going to throw on every down, and they're going to throw about 70% of the time.
Tommy Kramer, second ranked in the NFC after 8 games, looks it over. Second down and 9. Rolling out. Looking for Sammy White. He's covered. He goes across field to Rashad, incomplete. It'll be third down and 9.
The opening of the telecast, we used Ted Brown because he's the leading receiver in the records for the Vikes this year, second in the league going into this game, and Sammy White, who's the second receiver. But don't overlook one of the extraordinary receivers in the contemporary history of the league, Ahmad Rashad. He's the closest thing to Lynn Swann, with perhaps not quite the acrobatics that the league has.
Ahmad Rashad now in his 9th season. Fourth wide receiver comes in, Terry LeCount. Denver sets up in their pass prevent defense. Good protection. And Tommy Kramer had to unload quickly, incomplete to Ted Brown, and the crowd loves it as the punting unit for Minnesota comes back out.
And you just saw something in 2 successive plays that you don't see normally. Tommy Kramer did not throw either one of those balls as well as he normally does. And he is playing as well as any quarterback in football this year.
Dropping deep now, Wade Manning, number 83. There he is. A Dallas Cowboy a year ago on the injured reserve list. And, of course, Danny Reeves had a chance to get acquainted with the young man, Wade Manning. He had him for 2 years as a Cowboys offensive coordinator. Cowboys used Manning as a cornerback. Low kick by Coleman. Here comes Manning. And Manning, no daylight, and down he goes at the 43-yard line on a 38-yard punt by Greg Coleman. So good field position once again for the Denver Broncos with 8:14 remaining in the first quarter. There they are. I guess we could say Don thought the game was in Minnesota.
I don't like Dandy's tie.
That looks better on his turtleneck. First and 10, the Broncos. No score in the ball game. 8:14 remaining in the first quarter. Both teams battling to stay at the top of their respective divisions. Inside handoff. This is Preston. And Preston bangs it out to the 48-yard line before he's upended by Tommy Hannon. Gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
They're getting good first down yardage. Earlier drive gave us more action perhaps than we had seen in the prior 3 years with Denver in a matter of 2 minutes. But that's Dan Reeves for you.
Dan Reeves has really worked hard this year. Changed so much around for the Denver Broncos. The numbering system, but almost the entire Cowboy attack with him. On 2nd and 4, the handoff is inside. It goes to Rick Parros. He's met hard at midfield, short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down. Along too is Scott Studwell, who will really lay it on you. Banged into Rick Parros.
He really will lay it on you. Many of you probably haven't even heard of Rick Parros. He's from Utah State. He was out with an injury. He's right now the leading ground gainer for the Denver Broncos in the rushing department.
3rd down and 2. The ball right at midfield. Setbacks. Tony Reed 32, Preston 46. And Morton on 3rd and 2 will put it up. Has to hurry, and he gets it off. Beautiful shot to Reed. He has the first down as Morton was leveled back at his own 40-yard line. Mark Mullaney really hammered Craig Morton, but what poise this veteran has.
It was a terrific play by Morton. When Mullaney was in on him like a shot, as you'll see the end zone, you'll see from the left part of your screen, watch Mullaney beat his man to the inside, gets in Craig's face. He knows he's going to get hit. He gets the ball off to Reed. He gets a completion. Interesting note, Minnesota on 3rd and 2 went to a 4-man line. They expected pass. They guessed right.
First down and 10. Still no score, but the Broncos moving once again. They had the ball at this point once before, and Tony Reed was intercepted. Morton doesn't like what he sees, or does not like the personnel, but he has. And he indicates he wants timeout.
Riley said, who, me? I didn't move the wrong way.
Craig Morton, wily veteran, will move over and talk it all over with Danny Reeves, his new coach.
IBM put a lot of what it knows about computers into the new IBM personal computer. Not to make it complicated, but to make it simple. So it's easy to understand and easy to use. IBM made its personal computer to help a person be more productive, to help a person be more creative. And those are good reasons for a person to feel good. The IBM personal computer, now at selected stores across the country.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that Light's got 1/3 less calories than their regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, Light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
Back in Denver, Craig Morton back out into the Denver Bronco huddle. Again, Denver with a win tonight will move up with Kansas City and San Diego with a 6-3 record to lead the AFC Western Division. Minnesota, should they lose tonight, will fall back into a tie with Tampa Bay at 5-4, a win, of course, and they will continue to lead the NFC Central Division. On 1st and 10, the quick toss, Parros. And Parros, good, hard, solid running. They call it north and south, and Parros goes for a quick 8 yards, hit by James White.
If there's no question to this point, Denver's offense has had the better of Minnesota's defense. The only error they made was the option pass. That maybe was ill-advised. Other than that, they've been letter perfect on offense, running and passing.
Nobody is perfect, you understand.
Dandy told me that.
2nd down, a little less than 2. The ball at the 28-yard line. Watson, split to the right by Morton. Rick Upchurch, top of your screen. Handoff inside. It goes to Rick Parros. Parros, line of scrimmage. That's about it. It'll be 3rd down and about 1.5 yards as Scott Studwell was there defensively again along with Jeff Seaman, number 50. Short yardage offense now coming out for the Denver Broncos. That means Rob Lytle will come out and join number 35, Larry Canada. Lytle, of course, number 41.
Look at the strategy here, Giff. From the 28-yard line, they have no confidence in their kicker, Steinfort. He's had a horrible year for him to this point. They are thinking 2 downs. I would predict they will run this down. If they miss it, they would run again. Let's see.
Last time, similar situation. They gave the ball to Lytle. This time, Canada. And I do not believe Canada gets the first down.
I don't think so.
And it will be 4th and short.
This will be an interesting call.
Well, I think the call here, Howard, if he doesn't make it, even if his kicker was going good, is still to go for it. It's going to be inches short.
Question is Fred Steinfort. And if you follow this game, you know that Steinfort is having a disastrous year, coming off a super year a year ago. Steinfort, 5 of 15 on the season. He, of course, the field goal kicker for Denver. He's missed 6 from inside the 40. He's 2 of 11 from 30 yards out. So we have the offensive unit staying in the game for the Denver Broncos. About a yard to go for the first, maybe a little less. Preston, 46, Canada, 35. Preston gets the first down inside the 25-yard line. Dave Preston. Good, solid running.
Giff, you know who Dave Preston reminds me of? There's a back in Minnesota years ago named Billy Boom Boom Brown. Same type of back. Not great speed, gives you great blocking, good short yardage running, good receiver out of the backfield. That's Dave Preston.
Another free agent with the Denver Broncos in 1978. Started in New England. Dave Preston did in his career as a 12th-round pick. They cut him. Denver picked him up. And along with Rick Parros, they've been anchoring the running game for the Denver Broncos this season. First down and 10, Denver. And off is Parros. Middle of the line, behind the block of Tom Glassy. Kevin Clark over there at left tackle, number 73, a first-round draft pick a couple of years ago for Denver.
Reeves has a problem with Fred Steinfort. He's a puzzle. Dan was telling us at our production meeting this morning that Steinfort kicks brilliantly in practice. Come the game, he can't get any height on the ball. They've been working carefully with him, as you look at Freddie, with the implantation of his left leg, which he's not been planning properly, according to Dan, to get height.
On 2nd and 7, Morton up quickly. He fires out to Watson. Watson holds on inside the 15-yard line, close to another Denver Bronco first down. John Turner was there, but Morton really drilled it.
And that's a story in itself. Steve Watson, this season, in his 3rd in the National Football League, nobody heard about him until this year, has caught 10 touchdown passes, as you see on your screen there. He doesn't have great speed. He is a wonderful athlete. He knows where he is on the football field, and he catches the ball well.
That's Steinfort. We've been talking about him because it could be the difference tonight. He missed 5 field goal attempts in the opening game against Oakland. That's enough to give anyone a head job, and he has really been having his problems. They have brought in Walter Barr, father of Chris and Matt Barr, to work with him. As you can see, the crowd does not like the way it was marked. They'll bring it out. It'll be short yardage for Denver, and we'll see Rob Lytle once again and Larry Canada. The offensive backs for Denver on the short yardage set.
Rapidly paced first quarter. 2:37 left. 3rd and 1 from the 14. Denver dominating the play thus far. One mishap. The intercept on the Tony Reed option pass by Willie Teal.
Short yardage offense up. The 3 tight ends are in. Egloff, Wright, Odoms. The setbacks, Canada 35, Lytle 41. Big opening on the left side. Larry Canada exploits it down inside the 10-yard line. First down, Denver, as they continue to march.
It's really interesting to me, Giff, how they're moving their backs around. They don't have what you would call a great back in their backfield, but they're getting all they can out of a lot of different talents.
They mark it close to the 10-yard line. This drive started on Denver's 43-yard line. So far, they've used 10 plays. They've worked the first quarter down to 1:45 with the clock moving. Preston breaks it back, and I do not believe he gets back to the line of scrimmage, as Fred McNeil, number 54, was there defensively for the Vikings.
Of course, the thing this drive does is it keeps the Minnesota's high-powered offense off the field. They've eaten up most of the first quarter clock here.
Gets a little sticky down here, however.
Yes, it
no
does.
gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Watch for Riley Odoms.
All right, we'll watch for Riley Odoms. He's number 88, tight end, left side.
He certainly got a throw here, Jeff.
Danny Reeves in what he calls his flip formation. Both wide receivers on the same side. Odoms. Well, Craig again uses another timeout. As he senses that he was going to be penalized for delay of game, so he called timeout. And once again, he'll move over to the bench. Craig doesn't move over there very swiftly either. He does take his time. He has had so many conferences with coaches, said, I've heard it all in 17 years. That one he just used to save the 5-yard penalty.
We've got another great matchup next week. The Buffalo Bills, superbly coached by Chuck Knox, coming off their victory over Cleveland yesterday. The Dallas Cowboys, now tied with the Eagles for first in the Eastern Division of the NFC, coming off their victory over the Eagles yesterday. And they come to grips next Monday night. The Bermuda Triangle against Mr. Landry and company.
Boy, they played a football game yesterday, Philadelphia and Dallas, and of all the runs I've seen Tony Dorsett make, I'll take that 9-yard touchdown run over any of them.
Yep.
It was a key. It had to be done, and Tony just carried a couple of Eagles with him.
He's got 952 yards thus far.
Well, the Cowboys the last 2 weeks have come back from near death to win against Miami and then against Philadelphia.
Now we do have a problem. Torn ligaments for Shane Nelson. That'll be Chuck Knox's problem. That may impede the Bermuda Triangle.
2nd down, a little more than 10. Carroll, single setback, number 24 for Denver. Morton will put it up. Ball is deflected. Or Morton's arm is hit just as he released the ball.
But he was throwing to Riley Odoms.
Craig Morton will stand there often just like a stoic, almost like a masochist, if you will. He doesn't seem to care whether they hit him, how hard they hit him. He'll stand there to the last possible moment. At that time, somebody got to his arm just as he released it.
Well, let's see Howard's man Riley here. See what he does if he gets open so Craig can get to him. He's running a little down and up. He doesn't look, he's a little, not really open down in the end zone. Hannon's got him covered very well. And Craig threw the ball, but he got deflected. Now he's in a real hole here. 3rd and 10 from the 11. Got to throw again. And Fred
Steinfort's getting nervous.
He is. Got to throw this to the end zone.
Morton back. Has the protection. Fires. A pair of receivers are bunched up in the corner. That attracted a lot of Vikings, and Steinfort will have to come out whether he likes it or not.
And Dan Reeves may be more nervous than Steinfort right now.
You know, last year it was amazing. Steinfort was 76%. That led the NFL. He was 26 of 34. All of a sudden, something went wrong in the opening game of the season. He perhaps has tried to press a little too hard, but right now he's on with Steve DeBerg holding for an attempt of 29 yards.
I think Dan Reeves was just telling Watson he ran the wrong pattern.
He missed it. That is hard to believe.
He missed it.
So it continues. And now Steinfort is 5 of 16. He has missed a 29-yard effort, and there's nothing lonelier than a kicker when he misses a cheap one.
His problem is clearly mental.
Let's look again. The ball was down.
Good shape.
Steinfort. I don't know about sidewind kicking. They maybe had the right foot in front of a little further than he should have.
The implantation of the right leg was apparently proper, but the left leg in the approach may not have been.
First down and 10, Minnesota. 38 seconds now remaining in the first quarter. And Minnesota dodges another bullet. Kramer back. First down. Puts it in the air. Ahmad Rashad, the intended receiver. That one not timed out too well as Aaron Kyle was up there defensively for the Broncos. It'll be 2nd and 10.
But Giff, you brought up a point. The Broncos have dominated the first quarter. They've had 2 scoring opportunities, and yet we're going to finish this first quarter 0-0. You only get so many chances to get down in there. When you get down in there, you better come out with points.
Well, you talk about the loneliness of a long-distance runner. Steinfort walked off the field, and I think there's nothing personal on the part of his teammates. So they just have got nothing to say to him. Second down and 10. Ted Brown, single setback. The count in motion. That's the count. Screen right. Gary out in front, but a swarming Bronco defense was there. It'll be third down and long, and Minnesota is having a very difficult time moving the ball.
They really are. They're going against the #1 pass defense in football. Minnesota's trying to go at it with 3 wide receivers, White, LeCount, Rashad, and 1 running back, who is really a receiver, in Ted Brown. They're not making any bones about it. They said, boys, we're going to throw the football.
And they'll just let the time tick off as Bud Grant looks on, now in his 15th year with the Vikings. And over those 15 years, he has won his division, the Central Division of the NFC, 11 times. He's been to 4 Super Bowls. You could say he's seen it all. We'll be back. 9 and 9 for the Minnesota Vikings, struggling against the #1 defense in the NFL, the Denver Broncos. Ted Brown, single setback. Sammy White in motion. Kramer, a lot of time. Fires incomplete. Ted Brown, short of the first down, and Minnesota will have to bring out the punting unit once again as Bob Swinson picked up Ted Brown, held him short of the first.
Kind of play makes no sense, Fran. 4 yards and over.
Yeah,
but you've got to make 10. You've got to get the yardage.
It's Minnesota's type of play. They flood the deep zones, try to sneak Ted Brown underneath, hit him, and let him run the football against a linebacker. However, there are not many linebackers like Bob Swinson who can cover Ted Brown man-on-man. Not many can do that.
There's Wade Manning, his own 35-yard line. Greg Coleman's last run, a 38-yard effort. All things go as they should. Denver will once again have good field position. On count by Coleman. And gets it off. A beautiful high towering punt. That will prohibit Wade Manning from a return. Good effort by Greg Coleman. And the Denver Broncos will have the ball at their own 37-yard line. And they look at the time of possession. 11:20 for Denver, Minnesota 3:40.
Sometimes that figure can be deceptive, as we've pointed out in the past. But every statistic there shows the total dominance of Denver. And yet, it's nothing.
What's amazing to me is Minnesota's had only 14 yards passing in the first quarter. I'm sure that's their low for the year.
It'll change over the course of the game. First down and 10. Morton has Upchurch left. Watson, top of your screen, as wide receivers. Watson in motion. Play action. The quick screen to Upchurch. And this time, Upchurch down at the line of scrimmage. Good defensive play by Kurt Knopf. They like to get that ball to Upchurch and let him use his broken field running talent. You recall a few years ago when he was tearing up the league running back punts. What they get that one block and go all the way so quickly.
What they try to do is set up that little quick screen and get a tackle out underneath him. They never got their left tackle, Kelvin Clark, out to block the safety man Knopf, and Knopf made the play.
Of course, Clark, newcomer at that starting left tackle spot because of the injury to Claudia Minor. Dave Stutter, the regular left tackle, having moved to right tackle. Second down and 9. Out of the shotgun. Morton will be sacked for the 31st time this year.
Morton tackled by Mulaney.
Loss of 3.
Well, Giff, Craig likes to get the ball to his outside receivers. Minnesota came with 5 defensive backs. They double covered both outside receivers. They had single coverage with linebackers and 1 safety man on both backs and the tight end. He didn't have time to look for it.
Mark Mulaney, famous for his father.
One of the many first-round draft picks. There are 4 of them, as a matter of fact, that worked at front defensive line. As you can see, Minnesota now in their 4-3. Third and 11. Morton again in trouble, and Morton will go down. This time, back at the 24-yard line, Randy Holloway, who comes in there as the 4th man on the pass rush, has dropped Morton all the way back inside his 25-yard line. Kurt Knopf also in there. as Minnesota is swarming now over Denver.
Interesting thing, Giff, Randy Holloway started in place of Doug Martin tonight, who Doug Martin, the second-year first rounder from a year ago that they really like. But Holloway has moved ahead of him in the starting line tonight. Paid off right there with the sack.
Martin has had differences of opinion with his coach, Bud Grant.
And he lost.
There's a dangerous return man, Eddie Payton. Prestridge, end over end. Eddie Payton from his 34-yard line. And down goes Payton. Getting out over the 35 to the 36 as Wade Manning hustled down there for the special team unit of the Denver Broncos. So Minnesota will have good field position. We'll be back. There's Craig Morton. He was sacked twice in that last series for Denver. He was over flexing his left knee. Appears to be all right. Minnesota now with their best field position thus far in the night, the 36-yard line of Minnesota. We're in the second quarter, in case you've just joined it. No score. Kramer, and he will go down. Barney Chavis was there. Actually, Kramer had the time. He just could not find a receiver.
Give credit to the defensive coverage, the linebackers, and secondary of Denver. Giff was right. He had time to pick his receiver out. Nobody was open. He had to eat the ball.
23rd sack for the Denver Broncos.
After Minnesota stifled Denver defensively on that last series, one might have thought that we'd see a change in the trend. But so far, Kramer has not been able to get into any of his rhythmic passing patterns.
Second down, 17. Good blitz down for Denver. They do not. They drop. Kramer going deep. Sammy White is double covered. Is dropping deep with Steve Foley. Number 43, Perry Smith, number 45.
And Perry Smith had a chance for an interception. The ball went off his hands. Tommy really had no chance there with Sammy. He was double covered all the way.
There's Mark Herman. He was a fourth-round draft pick. Of course, he had incredible numbers at Purdue. Set a few NCAA records there, 9 of them, as a matter of fact. The rap on him, why he went in the 4th round. Not a strong enough arm, not enough zip on it. Danny Reeves says not true. He looks for great things from this young man.
He sure does. He gave us a 10-minute lecture on that kid today. He wants to develop him slowly.
Third down, 17. Marty McDowell, a speedster rookie from Mississippi State, is in there, but we get the reverse to Ted Brown on the long yardage play. And Ted Brown hammers out over the 40-yard line, getting close to the 43 before Randy Gradishar and Bob Swinson were there defensively. It'll be 4th down, and Minnesota will punt once again. Ted Brown, he does it all. He is now, once again, the leading receiver in the National Football League. Dwight White of San Francisco, second.
I'll tell you, Giff, that call tells me the Vikings are a little bit intimidated by the Denver pass defense, because certainly you're not going to pick up a first down with 3rd and 14 with a kind of a Statue of Liberty play.
Wade Manning is dropped. Greg Coleman will punt. Coleman this time looking for the right corner. This time Wade Manning is there. And it takes a very definite Minnesota bounce. Oh. And what an opportunity. Sinline, the rookie from Texas, was down there. He does not cover it, however. It'll be a touchback. 58-yard punt by Greg Coleman. Denver will have possession at their own 20.
On the 2 or 3 yard line, but he did hit the ball into the end zone. Big error for the Vikings.
Still no score. 10:32 remaining in the first half. Denver now from their own 20-yard line. Watson left, Upchurch right. Big Preston. Flag is down. First flag of the night.
Yep, and that's a holding penalty, I would assure you.
I would think.
Yep. Scott Studwell took Preston after a gain of about 4 yards. And their first penalty of the game, as indicated by referee Fred Wyant, will work against Denver.
Left-handed quarterback from West Virginia, Freddie Wyant was.
Danny Reeves came up as a quarterback free agent the same year Craig Morton came up as the All-American quarterback from California, the #1 draft pick, Golden Boy. They were great friends, and this man, of course, great pro in his own right.
Yeah, Bud shook up, isn't he? He's really upset about things.
Did he pick up some of that rainbow trout with you?
Number 65, first down.
Holding number 65. That's Glenn Hyde, who had replaced Billy Bryan at center.
Was Bud fishing with you yesterday?
No, but if he'd have found out how fishing was out here on Saturday, even though we got so much snow up the mountains, I'm sure he'd have been up there trying to delay the game tonight. First down and 20. Following the holding call, Denver backed up to their 10-yard line. Parros, single setback. Morton, middle screen to Parros. Parros gets 5 yards back before Fred McNeil gathers him in at the 15-yard line.
Well, it was a good call by Craig, but here's a 6'4" quarterback. The ball gets tipped by the defensive lineman. I don't care how tall you are, you cannot throw over the defensive lineman. You got to throw in the gaps. Watch here as Morton goes back. He has the screen set up pretty nicely. Gets the ball in, which he thinks is high enough, but Duck White tips it. Completes it, but it breaks the rhythm of the play completely down. Minnesota gathers itself and stops it.
They're looking for active linebackers. Try the Vikings outside linebackers, McNeil and Blair.
Yes.
They move around. Second down, 15. Shotgun for Craig Morton. Inside handoff, Preston. Preston turns the corner, gets out over the 20-yard line, close to the 22, before he's upset there by Mulaney. So it'll be 3rd and long once again for Craig Morton.
This is a big play for the Broncos. Thus far, they've been able to move the ball very well. But in truth, they could have scored 10 points in the first quarter, failed to do so when they completely dominate.
It's a big play for both teams from this standpoint. If Minnesota holds them, they're going to get good field position regardless of what Denver does the rest of the drive.
3rd down and 8. Both teams bring out their specialty units. Haven Moses comes in, number 25, joining Watson and Upchurch as wide receivers. Odoms remains the tight end. Morton with time, but he was hammered just as he tried to release the ball to Dave Preston. And that's the 3rd time that Morton, or 4th time actually, that Morton has taken a tremendous shot. This time it came from James White. 4th down, and the Denver punting unit is on.
You know, Craig really looks over the receivers longer than most quarterbacks. He stands back there longer. He takes more hits than most people, and he's vulnerable to the sack. Tonight, Minnesota's defense is covering very well, evidently, because he's not finding receivers open as well as he was in the first drive.
There's Eddie Payton, 1977. He put on a show against Bud Grant when he played for Detroit. Ran back a punt for 87 yards for a touchdown, a kickoff for 98. He'll get an opportunity now. High kick by Prestridge. And Eddie Payton very wisely calls for and executes the fair catch at the 37-yard line. And Minnesota, off a 41-yard punt, Prestridge will have good field position once again. We'll be back. Bud Grant's creed, you live by the pass, you win by the pass. Those are the first downs executed by the Vikings over the year through 8 games, 116 first downs through the air, 50 rushing. First down, 10. The Vikings at their own 37-yard line. The nearest thing to a score we've had was a missed field goal by Fred Steinfort from 29 yards for Denver. Ted Brown, single setback, and works out of the backfield. Quickly, Kramer, Sensor battles forward up close to a first down in the arms of Bob Swinson.
You have to expect that Minnesota will start to get its offensive rhythm together. Denver's blown opportunities have to cost.
Well, I'll tell you what, a year Sensor is having. Last week, even in a losing effort to St. Louis, he caught 5 for 100 yards. He's now caught 36 on the year. 4 of them have been touchdowns. Near the 48-yard line of the Vikings, Brown again, the single setback. Gets the call right up the middle, moving behind Dennis Swilley and Jim Huff. Gain of about 3. It'll be second down and 7. And Minnesota once again in Denver territory.
I've got a giggle give every time they run the ball because they just kind of do it to say, we can run it. We do have a running game, and want you to know that, fellas. But they really don't take it too seriously. Minnesota's back to the 3 wide receivers. Tight end and Sensors like a wide receiver, and Ted Brown, who's like another wide receiver. They got 5 receivers in there, and Bud again is just all shook up.
Second down, 7, 49-yard line of Denver. Kramer back again. Kramer almost picked off. It was ever so close by the former Cowboy Aaron Kyle, intended for Joe Sensor, and Kyle would have hung up 6 had he held on.
It's the most dangerous pass in football to throw it out into the flat, and Tommy didn't see Kyle sneak in there, and that really made Bud mad, didn't it? And here he is. Tommy's throwing it out to Sensor, but Kyle sneaks in there, coming from the inside, and he had 6 points.
Hey, the Cowboys tried to sneak Aaron Kyle through on procedural waivers a year ago when he had a sore ankle. Denver claimed him, and it enabled Denver to move Kyle to the corner and Steve Foley, the former cornerback, to free safety, and it has really strengthened their defense. We've got a 3rd and 7. Kramer is batted away. Incomplete, and we'll have a 4th down. Good effort. Big man in there was Don Lattimore.
Well, I'll tell you, I watched the coverage that time, Giff. I didn't see anybody open. Denver is doing as good a job of concealing their coverages as I've seen anybody do in a long, long time, and it's bothering Tommy.
Hey, they've done it all year. They have allowed, on average, 126 yards passing per game, and in this era of the pass, going back to the new rule changes in '78, that is remarkable.
It really is.
Greg Coleman to punt. Wade Manning will guess with him. Stations himself at the 10-yard line of Denver. Coleman looks for the right corner. Manning is there. And Manning with a good effort out to the 15-yard line on a 36-yard punt. Fred McNeil, who doubles in duty for Minnesota, works on the special teams, was down there defensively. We'll be back. Mile High Stadium, Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, Fran Tarking, along with 75,000 Denver fans watching the Broncos go against the Minnesota Vikings. Scoreless game thus far. 7:06 remaining in the first half. The nearest effort we've had, Steinfort of Denver, missing from 29 yards out on a field goal attempt. Both teams need the victory tonight. For Minnesota, they need the win to stay on top of the Central Division of the NFC. And Denver needs it to join Kansas City and San Diego. Morton back on 1st and 10. The big man, Ron Egloff, is there, and Egloff comes down with the ball at the 40-yard line. The long game of the night.
A gutsy throw by Craig Morton. Had to put it between 2 defensive backs. Egloff could have easily dropped the ball. He had the hands all in there, but he caught it.
He's big, 6'5", and a 227-pounder, and he came down with the ball.
All right, here we are from the end zone. It's a play pass action. Craig's going to fake the run to Preston. Pretty good fake. It holds the rush. It gives him more time than he's had in a long, long time. He throws it down to Egloff. It wobbles a little bit, but it gets there.
Denver with a 1st and 10. The ball inside Minnesota's 41-yard line. A 40-yard pickup by Morton and Egloff. Quick pitch to Tony Reed. Tony Reed runs into trouble and then battles out of it, getting down close to the 35-yard line with a genuine extra effort by Tony Reed. Tony Reed came to Denver for a 3rd-round draft pick, and as we've already mentioned, Danny said he expected to use him tonight considerably. Good receiver as well as a hard runner.
Which he proved earlier with an excellent reception.
Gain of 4, 2nd down and 6. Morton, short setup, ball batted away. Mulaney once again with that big arm up in the air. Rick Upchurch had executed a little quick square out. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Haven Moses will come out, as will Tony Reed. Moses, of course, the 3rd wide receiver for the Broncos, joining Watson and Upchurch.
And Minnesota does not have a nickel defense, which means 5 defensive backs, Howard. They have 6 defensive backs in there. 4 linemen and Matt Blair. I think they're expecting pass.
And Matt Blair is like a defensive back. Great height, great agility. Number 59 for the Vikings. On 3rd and 6. Morton again hurries it, and Tony Reed comes down with a Denver 1st down inside the 30-yard line, close to the 27. Another good effort by Morton.
And another good effort by Tony Reed. Tony Reed went to Colorado. I thought he was a super back with Kansas City. Obviously, Kansas City didn't think so.
Well, I'll tell you, Howard, they replaced him with a great one in Joe Delaney, a number 2 draft choice who's had some kind of year.
Well, that kid's terrific.
And they're on top of their division with San Diego. Denver trying to get back and join them. Parros up the middle, inside the 25. Pickup of about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Matt Blair, bottom of that pile.
Well, you know, it's a cool night, but Minnesota's defense has been on the field the entire first half of this game. Sometimes you have to give in. They've done a terrific job of holding them up to this point.
Denver threatening once again, but there's an uneasy feeling because of the troubles of their place kicker, Fred Steinfort.
That's exactly right.
They're thinking in terms of touchdowns.
Absolutely.
Morton back. Good protection. A lot of time. Got it deep. Watson is there. And this time, good defensive play. Tommy Hannon breaking it up. Watson looking for his 11th touchdown of the season, but Hannon was there.
Without question, Tommy Hannon is the best defensive back on that Minnesota team. The kid from Michigan State has really grown, developed exactly as Bud Grant would have wanted.
Watch
Look at the end of the play here.
You're right. You see how bad he's got Tommy Hannon beat. You see Tommy way on the right part of the screen, but Craig really hung the ball more than he had to. Craig's got enough of an arm where he can zip it in there. That time, he flooded it more than he would like to. He could have gotten it in there better.
Once again, Fred Steinfort getting antsy on the bench as we look at a 3rd down and 7. The Broncos out of the shotgun. Martin going for Odoms, and it picked off or almost by Tommy Hannon in the end zone. He grabs for his helmet. He knew he should have had it. And out comes Steinfort, who is now 5 of 16. We hate to belabor the point of Fred Steinfort, but it is such a critical point for the Broncos.
Well, Giff, on that play, he got mixed up, Morton did, with his tight end Odoms. Twice before that, he had to call timeout because Odoms was on the wrong side of the ball. I don't know what the trouble is.
Steinfort is on the field. Crowd is standing. Last year, Steinfort had 5 field goals of over 50 yards. So far this season, he can't get arrested. A 42-yard attempt. DeBerg will hold.
Let's see if he gets height on it. First thing.
Nice snap.
He didn't make it. Yes, he did.
Yes, it's good. And DeBerg is the first to congratulate him. The entire team is coming out on the field.
In fact, I see Edgar Kaiser, the owner, going down there, don't it? No, I must be seeing things.
Steinfort has got the monkey off his back. 42-yard effort.
And the Vikings have somebody down, Giff.
The Viking is down as Steinfort receives the congratulations of his teammates. There's the first smile you've seen in weeks.
You know, really kicking from the 42 is less pressure on him than kicking from the 10-yard line like he had to before. That's Mulaney who went down for the Vikings.
He appears to be all right, although he is favoring his right leg. He's been a force already thus far in the first half, pressuring Craig Morton.
Looking at it from the end zone. Watch it slice back at the last second.
Now here we go.
Watch this.
It looks like it's going left, doesn't it?
Yep.
Is it going to hook in? Oh, what a shot. All right, boys in the truck. That is some shot.
But Reeves is getting what he wanted out of him because he's got him kicking with height now. Remember, he told us everything was low?
Yeah, but I don't think it's the positioning of the legs so much higher as I think the positioning of the head.
Yeah, that was a great hold by Steve DeBerg. That ball was snapped so high, he got it down quickly. On any kind of a long field goal attempt, you get that high snap, you have to get it down very quickly or that kicker is really thrown off. Eddie Payton is deep for Minnesota. The Vikings now down by 3. Eddie Payton from the 5-yard line. Flags are down, as we have seen so many times this year on kickoffs, on punts. Of course, the rule is you can't block below the waist, and is such a temptation. And of course, it's ingrained into the pros when they come into this game from the collegiate game.
And I think we had an illegal block here also against the Vikings, most likely. Let's see. Well, that's a
this time against the Denver Broncos.
Now that's an interesting call, isn't it?
Those are our officials tonight, headed by Fred Wyant. What they do when they are not on the field in the zebra costumes.
Well, Fred pointed the wrong way, Giff. It is against the Vikings as we thought. I didn't know how a defensive team covering a kickoff to have illegal use of the hands.
From the rear, number 52, push down.
Number 52, that would be Dennis Johnson. So the Vikings down by 3 now. Will have possession of the ball near their 12-yard line. Craig Morton has already been pounded rather severely tonight. He's taken 4 terrific shots from the Vikings. 3:57 remaining in the half. Ted Brown, left side, a lot of trouble. And Ted Brown forced out of bounds, a considerable loss all the way back near the 6-yard line. Aaron Kyle reading it perfectly.
And one might ask if, why don't the Vikings run the ball more? That's one. That's their 5th run of the night. They're throwing the ball about 15 times, and they don't run it because they don't run it well.
Well, if you can unscramble that, that's the comparison of Brown's activities.
I think what it's saying is he's about twice as good this year as he was last year in both rushes and receptions.
That's an easier graphic. He is just about twice as good as he was last year. There was a loss of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 14. Stadium is alive. Kramer from his end zone. Whips it into Sensor, and Sensor with a great move out over the 20-yard line. He gets the first down. What a tremendous move by Big Joe Sensor, showing that agility at 6'4" and 238 pounds.
Great basketball player out of East Stroudsburg. At the Maxwell Club luncheon a couple of weeks back in Philadelphia, his college coach was there. Probably his proudest product.
You watch Tommy, he's still got the bad knee. He's not running as good as he normally does. He's looking for anybody. Sensor gets open. Watch him here. Hurdles, gets him the first down. Big play by Sensor and Tommy Kramer.
Super effort. 23-yard line, the Vikings. Kramer timing it out with Ahmad Rashad, and he just does underthrow it. That ball was in the air, well out of the hand of Tommy Kramer before Ahmad Rashad had pulled up.
3.5 minutes left in the half, and I've got to tell you, as you look at Bud Grant, this Denver defense is as good as we've seen this year, friend.
They are as good as we've seen this year, and good as I've seen even on Sunday or Monday night, and their defensive record tells you that.
2nd down and 10. Denver thinking pass. They adjust accordingly defensively. And we have a 2 tight end set now with Minnesota. Sensor is in there with Bob Brewer. The single setback will be Ted Brown.
And this is a new formation for tonight. We haven't seen this one tonight. Let's see what they do from it. I bet they pass, though.
Sensor in a wing position, top of your screen. Kramer has to hurry. Sensor is there. Sensor down inside the 30, short of the first down. Good defensive effort out there once again by Aaron Kyle. I'll tell you, this crowd of over 75,000 reacts to every breath the player takes in the field.
Well, I heard a big roar go up right then. I couldn't tell what it was for. I thought somebody throwing a flag against Denver, but I see no flags. It's 3rd down and 4.
They just don't like to see a pass completed against their team.
From the end zone, Mile High Stadium once again sold out for the 89th consecutive time. 3rd and 4, that time remaining in the first half.
If Tommy Kramer needs 4, he'll go inside a 10-yard line, 10 yards. He will not throw the ball deep in this situation. He'll try to get his first down.
2 good receivers, Brown and Ricky Young. They're in the backfield. Timed out again. This time it works to Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad Rashad being covered by Aaron Kyle. Kyle did not know the ball was in the air. Rashad pulled up right on target.
Very cute play by Rashad. Rashad, I'm sure he told Tommy this. They're bumping around him. Kyle is bumping him. Ahmad told Tommy, underthrow me, and I'll come back for the ball, because Kyle's not looking for the ball. He did underthrow him. That's a planned play, rather than just Tommy Kramer underthrowing him with not enough ball.
You can tell a Dallas Cowboy trained defensive back. They watch that receiver till he looks back for the ball. Very wily. Rashad looked back like he was going deep. Pulled up, gets the first down. Kramer back on first down. Going for White, who makes a great catch at the 26-yard line.
I'm telling you, he made some kind of catch.
Splitting 2 Denver defenders. White comes down with the ball as we're going to get the 2-minute warning, and Denver will have their backs to the ball as Minnesota is battling back.
You watch this, Tommy's going deep. Sammy White, who people don't know much about because of Ahmad Rashad, is an excellent receiver. He catches between 2 people, gets hit by Steve Foley, hangs onto the ball. Some kind of reception.
Perry Smith, I believe, is down for the Denver Broncos as we look once again.
All right, here's a reverse angle. Another look at it. He's right in between really 4 defensive players. He goes up high to get it, and that hurts, if you know. But he kept hang on to the ball, and the Bronco player is down, as Giff just mentioned.
I believe Perry Smith is the injured Bronco. They have already lost Louis Wright in the pregame warm-up, so the Broncos are hurting in the secondary. And we're going to be back in Denver after this message from the National Football League. The preceding announcement was brought to you by Billy Bryan and the National Football League. And you're looking at Perry Smith, who walked off the field holding his rib cage, perhaps just the wind knocked out of him. We'll wait to get the official word. Right now, first down and 10. The Vikings have the ball inside the 27 of Denver. 1:55 remaining in the first half. The Vikings down by 3. Kramer fires and it's complete to Rashad. And Rashad struggling, getting another first down. This time inside the 16-yard line. Tom Jackson there defensively for Denver.
Now you're seeing Tommy Kramer at his rhythmic best. Everything that the Minnesota Vikings attack wants to achieve, they're now achieving.
Well, he's probing around. He tried to get to his backs early. They were covering him pretty tight. Now he's having success with Sammy White and Ahmad Rashad outside. Rashad lost his shoe and is going to have to go off the field.
Perry Smith, we understand, has just the wind knocked out of him, and he'll be back. He's back in the ball game right now, as a matter of fact. Marty McDowell, the rookie from Mississippi State, in there now for the Vikings. A lot of speed. The Vikings send Ted Brown booming up the middle over the right side. And again, Denver probably thinking pass, therefore pass rush. Fooled on the right side, and Brown gets a nifty pickup down to the 7-yard line. Gain of 8. Tell you, this is one strong football player.
Not very big, but he is strong, and he runs very well. They just don't use the run much in Minnesota, but he can run with some of the best of them.
He runs through tacklers like a mini Earl Campbell.
Yeah, he does.
Second down and 2. 1:14. Seconds ticking off. Minnesota has their 3 timeouts. They're not worried. Flag goes down, and usually we're going to see a holding call when that happens.
And Dennis Swilley threw it down, said, I don't like that.
I think he's the one.
Let's see.
That will back the Vikings up, back to where they can operate with their offense, the passing game. They were getting it down there a little too tight for that, Fred.
Yeah, they might like it back there a little more. They got 15 yards plus 10 in the end zone.
Under any circumstances.
Holding number 67. Second down.
It was Dennis Willey.
Of course it was. Under any circumstances. 8 yards, 1 yard, 1 yard.
3 rushing touchdowns for Teddy Brown.
Second down and 12. Vikings need to get close to the 5-yard line for a first down. 1:05 on the clock. Ted Brown, draw play. Read defensively by the Broncos. Jackson there first for Denver.
Well, I don't know whether Minnesota fooled Denver or not, but they fooled me, Howard, by running the ball.
With the run. But this is, Danmeyer can hit from here. He doesn't have great range, but from here he can hit.
He's had a wonderful year for him. He's been very accurate, kicked big field goals for him. He beat the Chargers with a 38, 39-yard field goal in the last seconds or in overtime.
Tommy Kramer looked over the sidelines, picked up his play. The seconds are ticking off. Half a minute left in the first half. Third down and 9. Sammy White in motion. Kramer, this time under pressure. This fires in the general direction of LeCount as he was being pressured by a blitzing Larry Evans. That stops the clock with 22 seconds.
And in comes Danmeyer.
Well, it was an impressive drive by the Vikings. After the first loss on first down, they drove it from their 5-yard line and got to the Denver 5-yard line, only to be penalized. Now, Mr. Danmeyer.
His numbers on the year, as we mentioned, good. 12 of 13. He missed a 34-yarder in our Thursday night game against Oakland. His longest thus far of the 12 that he's made, 45 yards. This will be a 32-yard attempt. Keith Nord holds it for Minnesota. This to tie it up straight away. Smooth effort by Danmeyer, and we've got a tie game with 18 seconds remaining in the first half.
Right down the middle, or as Frank and Dan Jenkins would say, dead solid perfect.
And indeed it was. Danmeyer has tied it up. Well, Denver this week, and of course we'll be moving back down to Dallas next Monday night. Denver and Buffalo will get it on. The likes of Joe Cribbs, Ferguson, their fine quarterback, and of course Dallas with a great effort yesterday against Philadelphia. So be with us next Monday night.
I tell you, Danny White showed me something yesterday. Busted play, desperately trying to save the situation, throwing the high ball to Doug Cosby, who has really come on as an exceptional tight end.
They're happy here in Denver. We're right at the base of the beautiful Rocky Mountains, and they are absolutely covered with snow. They opened some of the areas for skiing yesterday. I was up there, and nothing is quite as beautiful on a clear day as the Rocky Mountains. Snow on the ground, blue skies.
At least you didn't come back with a damaged knee this time. I have to worry about you every time you go up there.
I didn't get on him yesterday, but I'm going to believe I will right after the first of the year.
He was fishing in the snow.
It was frosty.
All right, here we go.
Danmeyer bangs it. Wade Manning from the 2-yard line. And Manning taken as he crosses the 25-yard line. Hustling down there, Tom Hannon. He's been all over the field tonight.
And all due respect to Wade Manning, Howard, he ain't Rick Upchurch running those kicks back, is he?
Nothing like him.
But nobody is.
He's been racked up. He's hurt.
Well, I do not believe the Broncos will get frisky at their own 26-yard line. They have but one timeout, 12 seconds now on the scoreboard remaining in the half.
I think we might see the old quarterback fall down.
Remind you to stick around at halftime. Take a look at highlights from some of the games. And I will tell you right now that Howard Cosell, in case you're listening, did not select the highlights. He gets all the abuse as we watch Rick Parros out over the 30 to the 31. And we can say that no matter how many times we want, but Howard gets the mail. So there it is, the end of the first half, and we're tied at 3 with two teams battling to stay on top of their respective divisions. We'll be back with our activities after this from our local station.
Late half momentum, and it may carry over now.
Well, they got a little rhythm into their offense for the first time the entire night in the last 3 minutes, and Denver up to that point had shut them completely down.
Steinfort tied it up with a 42-yard effort. Rick Danmeyer hit from 32 yards out for Minnesota. All the scoring, but a bitterly fought game between the 20-yard lines. And Rick Danmeyer has it on the tee. Wade Manning is dropped for the Denver Broncos. Again, Wade Manning perhaps not as effective. Take away the perhaps. He's not as effective as Rick Upchurch returning the kicks, but Danny Reeves says, Upchurch is my deep man. I want to keep him out of the kick return. So we'll see Wade Manning from the 10-yard line. And Manning just bowling up close to the 28-yard line. For Denver will have the first possession of the second half. And Craig Morton will lead his troops back out onto the field.
Well, the big problem Denver's had the first half, I think, is trying to protect the quarterback. Minnesota's pass rush has gotten to Morton a lot and hurt him other times.
Got increasingly effective as the half moved along.
And really, Minnesota has not been that effective throughout the first 8 games. They came into tonight with only 14 sacks and 7 interceptions. That's very low in the NFL. They have, however, pressured Craig Morton tonight. On first down, Craig is back. Looks for his checkoff man. He's covered. Morton is forever. And he loses it, but he had the ball in motion, and Morton took another severe shot.
He certainly did.
He is hurt. Randy Holloway hit him right in the back just as he released the ball. And Craig Morton is hurt.
As we said before, Craig does hold the ball longer than any quarterback that I know in football, and when you do, you get just those kind of hits. It's too bad.
I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback hold the ball longer than Craig just did. It seemed interminable, and now he's paying the price.
Craig Morton in his 17th year came in tonight leading the NFL in passing. They have tried so many times to replace Craig Morton wherever he's been. They tried it at Dallas, and of course they ultimately did.
You watch him here. He's looking, Giff. He's trying to find a guy down the field, and he's staying in the pocket, and he's getting pretty good protection here. Then, wow, does he get hit from the back and then the front by Studwell.
And Morton remains on the turf here at Mile High Stadium, being treated by the medical staff of the Denver Broncos. On the sideline, Steve DeBerg is warming up, and we'll be back in a moment. A close-up look at a weary Warrior who was really pounded a moment ago. He did, however, walk off the field without help. He's complaining his left shoulder, holding that as he came off. Meanwhile, Steve DeBerg has come on, acquired at the beginning of the season from San Francisco for a draft choice. And that draft choice depended upon DeBerg's performance. He was a starter for San Francisco in '79. Part-time starter a year ago as the 49ers developed Joe Montana. And on the very first play, Rick Parros off the right side.
You know, point here, Giff, it happens so often in pro football. When you stopped one quarterback, he goes down with injury or goes out for whatever reason. You bring another one in. It's a whole different rhythm for the defense to get used to. Many times he's effective when he starts out.
Parros got 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5. Interestingly enough, DeBerg, who was acquired by Danny Reeves, well, back in '77, Danny Reeves cut DeBerg when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys needing a running back, went for Preston Pearson, and they let DeBerg go, and he became a starter for the 49ers. Now in the uniform of the Denver Broncos and on the spot. Looking over, third down and 4. DeBerg under pressure.
Whoa!
Ball batted up in the air. Great pressure by the Vikings. They are not necessarily known for this kind of a pass rush.
They really aren't, Giff, but they are doing it tonight. That was Holloway, Mulaney that time. Mulaney's had 3 quick beats of the offensive tackle over there.
They had 14 sacks all year, as Fran noted, coming into this game. Good Lord, the Giants had 9 sacks against them yesterday in one game.
I knew you'd get to it.
I knew you'd never let that slip.
Prestridge is on fourth down. Eddie Payton has dropped for Minnesota. One would suspect, as we look down at the bench, that we will see Craig Morton once again. High snap. Prestridge fields it. Beautiful kick. Payton from his 20-yard line. And Payton swarmed under by a host of Broncos following a 45-yard punt. It was Mike Harden there first defensively for Denver. And once again, a look at Craig Morton, a weary Craig Morton. We'll be back. We just missed a very poignant moment. Danny Reeves, who started in the world of professional football the same year that Craig Morton did, walked over to Morton. It looked as though he said, "Can you make it?" Morton kind of nodded. We don't know whether we'll see him again. Meanwhile, Minnesota has a first and 10. The ball at their own 21-yard line. Kramer puts Brown in motion. And everyone in the pattern. Ricky Young over the middle, and he can't hold on as he is hit and hit hard. Number 53, Randy Gradishar.
Frequently it's said, Frank, this is a big series. And frequently it's a cliche, almost always. But this is a big series. Why? Because this is what Frank was talking about, by the way. Those two men have a special feeling for one another. They began together. Craig did throw touchdown passes to Dan. Dan never became a great player. Morton has flirted with greatness and is having his finest year this year.
Second down and 10. Ted Brown, single setback. Here comes Brown. Yeri out in front. And Brown out over the 25. Goes to the 28-yard line. Pickup of 6. It'll be third down and 4. Randy Gradishar again defensively for Denver.
We were saying this is a big series as you look at Bud Grant. Why? Because Minnesota clearly has established the momentum. And Denver's got to find a way to get it back. And if Minnesota can keep moving the football, keep its offensive rhythm, they can take over this football game.
Well, also, Denver's lost their number 1 quarterback to injury, and they need to get some momentum from the defensive team. All right, Giff.
Third down and 4 is down on the Denver bench. Craig Morton is warming up. Kramer back. Kramer, keep in mind, he's trying to run with a knee brace, and Randy Gradishar, who had dropped deep into the pass protection for Denver, was able to recover and get to Tommy Kramer short of the first down, and now Gradishar is down.
And let's talk about Gradishar. Dan Reeves and Grady Aldham, the general manager today, told me that Gradishar may be having his finest year. He's having a terrific year for the Broncos. He made a big play for him right there. He also made a big play on the first down play when he shook Ricky Young loose of the ball and caused an incompletion.
Greg Coleman comes out for the Vikings. Once again, Wade Manning settles in for Denver near his 28-yard line. Low snap. Fielded well by Coleman.
He hit it, though, didn't he?
He hit another beauty. Manning from his 20-yard line. And he will not outrun the pursuit as Keith Nord is there first. And Denver, the offensive unit, coming back out onto the field. There's a discussion at the moment. Will it be Morton or DeBerg? And Craig Morton is coming back onto the field. He'll get a tremendous ovation.
Used to be super.
Craig Morton, the NFL's #1 passer, has come back into the game. I mentioned it a moment ago. Seems like they're always trying to replace Craig. They finally did in New York after he was traded by Dallas. Joe Pisarcik took over there. Came out here, took Super Bowl, but still they didn't think he was the man. Often booed. They brought in Matt Robinson a year ago. They thought it would be the youngster Mark Herman, but the man on the spot once again is Craig Morton. 1st and 10. The Broncos from their own 20-yard line. Morton whips it out to Upchurch. He gets the block in front of him, but he's taken quickly at the 25-yard line. Good recovery out there.
Gift, good smart call by Dan Reeves, who calls the plays. They're getting a lot of pressure. Fake the run into the line. Quick screen out to Upchurch. Gives them a little rhythm going.
Fran, if you were quarterbacking, would you try that play on Matt Blair's side? He's just so big and so fast.
Well, the other side, they got Fred McNeil, who's almost as big and just as fast, so they don't have much choice.
You might file that play for this game.
Well, they got 5 yards. They did what they wanted to do. They got a positive play out of it on 1st down.
2nd down and 5. Morton again. Fired and it's complete to Rick Upchurch right in front of John Turner, who's laying way off of Upchurch.
Yep.
And of course, if you get into a man-for-man situation, you better lay off Rick Upchurch because he can really fly.
I'll tell you, Craig Morton is a courageous fella.
Yes, he is.
You've got to give that man credit. One of these times, Rick Upchurch just might break one.
But what they've done is a very smart thing from an offensive standpoint. They've got themselves in position 3rd and 1.5 to make a 1st down here to go in the 2nd half. They haven't made one yet. They need this.
3rd, a little more than 1.5. We'll call it 2. Short yardage offense. Rob Lytle.
Oh, it's close, isn't it?
I don't
very close to the 1st at the 31-yard line.
Don't think he got it.
I think you're right, Howard. I don't think he did either. Good defense by the Vikings there, whether he got it or not.
Well, Denver thinks they have it.
Yeah, Larry Canada gave a nice signal for Denver.
That's the oldest roost in the world.
He has got it by about a foot, it does appear.
He has got it, Giff. You're right.
Yep.
Larry Canada knew better than us, Howard.
Good for him.
1st and 10, Denver. And Craig stays on. And if you were not with us in the 1st half, Craig Morton took 4 vicious shots, survived all of those. Mullaney finally hammered him along with Studwell, and it was questionable whether he was even going to get up, but he's back in the game, and he's 10 of 18 with 107 yards on the night.
And I would think he'd stay with the short passing game or run the ball.
And up, Preston. Preston stacked up there. Jeff Seaman closing down, getting help from Mullaney and White. Maybe a yard.
I'll tell you one thing, Minnesota is playing some kind of tough defense right now. They're having to struggle for every yard they get.
Interesting game, too, in the new era of pro football, high-scoring contest. We've got a 3-3 ball game, 9:52 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and we haven't even seen the threat of a touchdown.
Swiftly paced, though.
Yep.
Good game.
You've got
Excellent
on one
game.
side the leading offensive team in football.
And on the other side, the #1 defensive team in the NFL, the Broncos. 2nd and 9. Morton, complete to Tony Reed. He has the 1st down, and he's in Viking territory. Taken out of bounds there, close to the 48-yard line.
Now, we've said Craig Morton's courageous physically. That time, mentally, he was courageous because he threw a pass just out of the reach of Matt Blair, who's got tremendous reach to Tony Reed. He threw a strike. Watching from the shotgun here. He's got Reed on Matt Blair on the right part of your screen. You'll watch Blair almost reach out and make the play. Look at there. Yep. If he does make that play, it's 6 points the other way. That's equally as courageous as he was a minute ago coming back into the game.
But look at the functional Reed. He is really a quality player.
Denver, first down, 48-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Riley Odoms in motion, and the quick toss goes to Canada. Larry turns the corner. It's 2, perhaps, before taken out of bounds by Mark Mullaney, who's playing a terrific game defensively for Minnesota. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
It was out at the 45.
That's nice.
That is nice.
Eye sculpture at the corner of the end zone.
2nd down.
Beautifully done.
ABC Sports. This is Mark Mullaney's hometown. Gift. He played ball here at Colorado. He trying to give the home folks a show, and he's doing it.
2nd and 8. Watson split to the left. He's been contained tonight. Morton looks for him. He's covered. Over the middle, and a flag goes down as it's complete out to Riley Odoms.
Well, that
late flag too. So in all probability, it'll be a holding call. When you start to get that quarterback running out of the pocket, as Craig had to do at that point, the linemen, they just almost instinctively grab as they feel that pressure change by the defensive lineman on the rush.
He really had very, very good protection that time from his offensive line.
Craig is over there discussing with one of the officials. He's saying that Riley Odoms was held.
Holding, number 70.
Dave Studdard playing the unfamiliar right tackle spot tonight in place of Claudia Minor.
And he's having to play against Mark Mullaney.
And we have called Mark Mullaney's number many times tonight. 9:12 remaining in the 3rd quarter. We remain tied at 3 apiece. Steinfurt field goal at 42 yards. A Dan Meyer field goal at 32 yards. That has been the scoring.
Interesting, no shotgun there, Giff.
2nd and 17. Morton again holding it on. Egloff. And again, Morton flirting with disaster as he overweights what any offensive line is expected to do. But he pulls it off, and Denver has a first down, 33-yard line of Minnesota.
He better take that offensive line out and buy them a double steak dinner for what he's asking them to do, because he is really taking the time. All right, here's the Vikings in their traditional zone defense. You see them spread out over the field to their zones. The cornerbacks and safety men are very deep. The linebackers are trying to get some depth, but Egloff gets in between them all. Morton finds him. Big gain for the Broncos.
Pick up at 22. 1st and 10 Denver. Morton again, quickly firing to Watson.
I think.
Right on the line of Upchurch as the 2 receivers were right together. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. A quick look at Watson. He has been spectacular. He caught 6 passes in '79 as a rookie free agent from Temple. He caught 6 in 1980. This year, as we've already pointed out, over 35 receptions, but 10 of those have been for touchdowns. One of them was for 93 yards against San Diego. One was for 95 against Detroit. He has been spectacular.
Giff, on that play, I really thought he might have been thrown to Upchurch, and Upchurch did too for a minute, but he didn't go after the ball. The ball was too high for Upchurch and too short for Watson.
2nd and 10. And this is the situation when Minnesota has really been able to pressure Morton. And he's going to, again, have to call timeout. He did that twice in the first half. Unhappy either with the call that was given him or the personnel with which he had to execute it. And he will saunter very slowly over to the Denver bench. And we will be returning to Denver right after this message.
You know,
for 11 years, it's been fans like this that have been selling out Mile High Stadium. Of course, the stadium, pardon me, has changed in structure over the years, but they love their Denver Broncos in Denver. 2nd down and 10. Morton trying to change things up. Comes with a trap up the middle to Dave Preston, and James White was not fooled one iota. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our friends at the stations around the country who are bringing you this game identify themselves.
KBTV Denver, a station of the Gannett Broadcasting Group.
Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, Fran Tarkington watching a bitterly fought game. The Denver Broncos trying to join Kansas City, San Diego, top of the Western Division of the AFC. Minnesota trying to retain their lead. NFC Central, and the score is tied at 3. Seesaw battle. Morton, 3rd down and 8. Fires tremendous collision. It was intended for Watson. And Watson was hit there hard by John Turner. Also there, Tommy Hannon.
I mean, Morton delivered a bullet. Watson came along, had a chance, but he was hammered by Tommy Hannon. You'll see it here from the end zone. Morton from the shotgun. Good protection by his offensive line. He steps up in there, sees Watson coming across the middle. Watch Hannon, 45, going for the ball, and for Steve Watson.
And out comes Steinfort. He is hit from 42 tonight. He will try one from 49, well within his range. He kicked 5 over 50 a year ago, but he's been off this year. On its way, and looking good. Steinfort, this crowd just erupts. Came in tonight 5 of 15. He promptly missed one from 29 yards. Hung his head, walked off the field, but came back and has now booted one from 42 and has just now hit from 49. Denver is out in front 6-3, and we'll be back. Back at Mile High Stadium. Crowd just now quieting down following a 49-yard field goal by Fred Steinfort, who is set to kick off. Eddie Payton is deep for Minnesota. High kick. Payton awaits the ball at the 5. He's got some running room. And Walter's little brother, Eddie Payton, with a great effort out to the 45-yard line. Minnesota again, good field position. Dennis Smith, the rookie from USC, was there defensively for Denver.
Let's watch Eddie Payton here. We saw him go 99 yards on Monday night against Oakland a few weeks ago, and here he goes. He's got a good wall of blockers. He cuts it upfield. He's a north-south runner. And watch him keep his feet. He takes 2 or 3 guys with him and finally goes down.
The first down for Minnesota, the 45-yard line on a 41-yard return from Eddie Payton. Tommy Kramer, unable to get it into the end zone. He's moved back and forth up and down the field. Hands off to Ted Brown. Brown surges for a pickup of perhaps 3 as Bob Swinson.
There's
Randy Gradishar is there. It'll be 2nd and 7.
I tell you, there are things that the viewers just can't see or know about. Steinfort, almost a mental case over his inability to kick the way he used to be able to kick. The patience of Dan Reeves, describing to us how he's working with him, how he hopes he can come back, and the patience being rewarded tonight.
And he stayed with him. He stayed with him in adversity, and that's good.
Well, in all honesty, they brought in several kickers and looked at them. 2nd and 7. Kramer under pressure. Gets it off. Ricky Young. And Ricky Young is piled up as now the Bronco defense is showing you why they have been the #1 defense in the NFL.
We got a flag in the secondary, Giff.
Flag deep downfield where Rashad was dueling with Aaron Kyle. Rashad and Kyle all locked up together. Kramer was not even looking in that direction. And the penalty is going to work against the Broncos.
And a costly one it is. In the meantime, the Broncos linebackers, so incredibly active. Gradishar, Jackson, Swinson,
and Larry Evans.
Illegal contact, number 22, first down.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 for Minnesota, and I'm sure the contact was Aaron Kyle against Ahmad Rashad. And if you look back at the defensive change of, let's look again.
Let's watch it. Here's Ahmad against Kyle. You watch it. You tell us with his illegal use of hands. Well, he's not supposed to be touching that receiver after 5 yards. I think he might have.
That's the call. And a proper one it was under the present rules. 47-yard line of Denver, 1st and 10. Kramer is back. Flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Kramer with a good shot to censor, but he has yardage for the 1st down. But again, the flag is down.
And the penalty gift's going to be on censor because when he came in motion, he cannot go forward before the snap, and he was.
There is a look at Randy Gradishar checking it out. You got it. Censor was moving towards the line of scrimmage. He must be parallel or move laterally.
Of course, Denver's saying he caught the ball, then fumbled, and we recovered. And the referee said that's no deal. You didn't recover.
Gradishar looking right through referee Fred Wyatt to see what Dan Reeves wanted to do, whether to accept or decline.
Illegal motion, number 81.
Censor in motion. and the Broncos will take the 5-yard penalty. That, of course, means that the down will remain the same. Had they declined, it would have been 2nd down and 10, but the Broncos wanted to back up the Vikings. Change I started to say, one of the other changes defensively for Denver has, we mentioned the return of Bob Swinson, who was out with a broken arm all last year, but Randy Gradishar played with a damaged ankle, a broken finger, a broken thumb throughout the entire year of 1980. He's back and healthy, and Denver is tough. 1st and 15. Kramer and Sensor crossed him up.
They obviously had a mix-up there, Frank. Sensor cutting inside. Kramer throwing outside.
Fran, you know better than us. Are the Viking receivers given that latitude and what they can do?
No. The backs are occasionally coming out. They have an option to cut in and out on some patterns. But the amazing thing about that, you mentioned it earlier to me, in a timeout gift, is they had Bob Swinson covering Sensor man on man as a split receiver. I've never seen anybody get a linebacker out in that situation. They think he can do it, and he did do it.
He might be the best against the pass defense. Certainly right up there with the best, Bob Swinson. 2nd down and 15. A short pass to Ted Brown. And then Brown tacks on additional yardage, moving to the 43-yard line before Billy Thompson is there defensively. A pickup of about 8, but well short of the 1st down, and it keeps Minnesota in a passing situation. 3rd down and 7.
Well, I'll tell you, little Tommy Kramer will chip away at you all night. He's not having his best night of the year, but you cannot give up on him. He's as good a 4th quarter quarterback as is in the game today, and you got to play your defense all night against him. He's not going to let up. He's very competitive.
You know, he's quarterbacked the Vikings to victories in 7 times, 39 starts, and they won it in the final 2 minutes. He doesn't ever think he's defeated. 3rd down and 7. Kramer, White, short of the 1st down inside the 40-yard line. Short by a couple of yards. Whistle is blown. It'll be brought back.
He's not having his best night of the year because of that Denver defense, Francis.
And give Joe Collier, the defensive coach of Denver, a great deal of credit for that.
He, of course, the defensive coordinator that Danny Reeves kept. We mentioned it today. We asked him about the defense. He said Joe Collier does that.
All right, you can look for something funny from Minnesota here, Giff. In that situation, the 39-yard line, Grant's pretty sneaky, pretty cagey. He could try a fake.
One thing you can count on is a long count, hoping to draw them offside. Billy Thompson is back in a very tentative deep position for Denver. Of course, Denver is thinking right with Minnesota.
And if Minnesota had a trick play on, they would call it off in this situation, as Denver's expecting it.
Coleman looking for the corner, and he caught it inside the 10. It'll be marked at the 9-yard line. So Denver will start deep in their own territory.
All right, folks, this Friday night on ABC prime time, Larry Holmes defending his WBC heavyweight title against Ronaldo Snipes, who by most precepts was soundly beaten by Harry Coetzee recently, but Snipes got the decision. Plus Michael Dokes against Chaplin, the guy who gave Greg Page 2 very difficult battles. That'll be 9 o'clock Eastern Time live.
Didn't Snipes and Holmes meet once before? As amateurs, I mean?
No.
I guess not. 1st down and 10. Handoff. Parros, right side. Piled up as he crosses the 10-yard line. Gain of a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Well, here's the situation. Denver's got a 6-3 lead. They're down inside their 10. They want to protect the ball, and yet they cannot be too conservative. Minnesota's defense wants to keep them in so they can give their offense field position.
3:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and the seconds are ticking off.
You're right. They can't be too conservative.
Nope.
They've got to get out of there.
Denver,
from their point of view.
Denver's worst field position of the night. Broncos leading 6-3. Handoff is Parros. He cuts back, sees the opening, drops the football. There's a scramble. Minnesota is saying they have it, and the officials are agreeing. Minnesota getting the turnover. Who has the football? Number 79. That's Doug Martin.
And he was in the doghouse.
Knopf was the man who collided with Parros, causing the fumble, and Doug Martin comes up with it.
He's out in the doghouse now.
Good move by Peros.
Yeah.
Bad move not to hold on to it.
Well, he did make a good move. Good blocking. Big hole. And he gets hit by Knopf. Gets the ball knocked out. Martin recovers. That alone will not get him out of Bud Grant's dog. That's if indeed he is in it, and I think he is.
Minnesota, 17-yard line of the Denver Broncos. Kramer back. Goes to Ricky Young, who one-hands it, a spectacular catch, but not picking up too much yardage, perhaps 4, as Tommy Jackson was right with him.
I tell you, Tommy Kramer's pulling out all the stops. He used every formation in the world, every kind of pattern to all the receivers, and it's just hard to get anything against the Denver defense.
Kramer looks over to the bench where the play is signaled in to him.
He's saying, Jerry Burns up in the press box, give me some magic here.
That, of course, called down to Bud Grant and signaled in to Jerry Kramer. There was a gain of 4. It's 2nd down and 6, a long 6 from this position. And it's Ricky Young as Tommy Kramer continues to peck away. This too short of a first down as Randy Gradishar rained all over Ricky Young.
He really chips away.
Yep, he got what he wanted there. He got himself in position now. Short yardage for 3rd down, and that's what he wanted.
Be sure you didn't work with this man. He does so much of what you used to do, Fran.
He does it awfully well, I'll tell you that.
No, Fran used to pick up more yardage.
I don't think so.
Over 40,000 yards, I might add. 3rd down, more than 1. Short yardage defense for Denver. 2 tight ends for Minnesota.
Minnesota likes to play pass in this situation.
Censor. Brown just strength alone that we talked about earlier carries it for a Minnesota first down close to the 5-yard line.
He got it.
Boy, I'm telling you, he showed some power there, didn't he? Got low, got leverage underneath the shoulder pads of the defensive people and pushed them back.
He is strong. He had knee surgery in the offseason. They worked on it again during the summer. When we saw him the first week of the season, he was not 100%, but he is 100% tonight, going against the #1 defense in the NFL.
And Minnesota's keeping their big guys in there from the 6-yard line. A little unusual, a little far out for that type of situation, but it's all goal line now.
1st and goal. Big opening for Ricky Young, and he drops the football. There's a scramble, and Denver got it. Denver.
They say they got it, but let's see.
No, we've got the indication. Aaron Kyle, I believe, comes out of the pile with the football, and Denver, who came to life deep in their own territory, now they have their 6-3 lead with 1:08 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
All right, here's a reverse angle. You see the handoff from Kramer to Ricky Young, 34. Rulon Jones is deep and out of the play. He's got a good hole. That's a good hole for that part of the field on the goal line. There he gets hit right by 22, Aaron Kyle. He made the hit on the ball. Ball pops loose, and it's a mad scramble, and I guess Aaron Kyle came up with it.
Minnesota had a 1st and goal to go near the 5-yard line. Denver now has the football.
And they got double tight ends in. They got their goal line offense down on their whole goal line.
Dave Preston, right side. He squeezes the football.
Very
Moves out over the 10. He'll get 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Dan Reeves has done a very interesting thing, and I think a very smart thing. He's got his 2 tight ends in there in this situation like you would have on a short yardage situation or down trying to score. He's got it when he's down his own end of the field, so we're going to get power running in there. We're going to say, we're going to not do the pass. We're going to run at you right now, and here we go, and he did it.
He also has tremendous belief in this defensive unit.
Now he's gone back to conventional offense.
Not terribly concerned if he does have to kick from down here. 2nd down and 5. Comes Tony Reed, and Tony Reed sees an opening. Cuts back out over the 15-yard line. He's close to a first down for Denver.
Well, Dan Reeves told us how he was going to use Tony Reed tonight. He certainly has. He's been a key player for Denver all evening.
The yard markers will come out as you look at Aaron Kyle, who made a tremendous defensive play down near the goal line, in on the tackle, then recovering the fumble.
When he was with Dallas, Aaron Kyle was always considered to be a big hitter, but not good on coverage. But Denver, he's doing both.
Short by that much, says referee Fred Wyant. And the short yardage unit of the Denver Broncos comes back out onto the field.
And they keep Rob Lytle in, and all the big boys are in there, a gift. And I don't expect Denver to be sweeping either side. I think they'll go straight at that defense, and that's what you should do. Nothing fancy here. It's muscle on muscle, and who can out-muscle who.
14 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Denver on top, 6-3. Clock will start, and I do not believe Denver will attempt to get a playoff. No, they will not. As Greg Morton looks up at the scoreboard, watches the final seconds of the third quarter tick off, and there it is. So Denver holds on to the lead, 6-3, and will be returning for fourth quarter action from Mile High Stadium, a rocking Mile High Stadium, after this from our stations.
Europe free. A madhouse tonight. 75,000 screaming fans on hand watching the Broncos and Vikings. For all the highlights and live interviews, watch 9 News after the game.
I'll tell you, there are more letters like that come out of the state of Colorado than from any other state.
Isn't that a cute kid?
I'm not sure Governor Lamb will agree with that. The governor's here tonight.
The young people love this state. It's a young state. They really get into things. They're climbing the rocks, they're climbing the mountains, they're skiing down the hills, they're kayaking, they're rafting.
A lot of Coloradans here tonight. John Denver's here.
Oh, you look good.
He did look good. What a nice guy he is.
He really is.
He really is something.
Rocky Mountain High.
And he loves it out here.
Bob Maples is here.
Bobby Maples, Mount Vernon, Texas.
All right, we're going to begin the fourth quarter, and I hope you agree that you maybe have never seen a better football game in which not a touchdown has been scored in 3 quarters of play. 6-3, Denver leads over Minnesota, all the scoring by field goal. Larry Canada, right side, and Canada.
He got it.
It's the first down. Larry Canada was injured reserve all last year, as was Rick Parros.
A tough kid. Wisconsin.
You know, tonight there hasn't been a touchdown scored by either team. I really cannot fault either offense. They've tried everything in the world. The defenses of both teams have been excellent.
Got a quick look at Walt Garrison's old roommate, Danny Reeves. Greg Morton looking over his 1st and 10 at his own 19-yard line. Again, a lot of time. Complete. Dave Preston. Preston short of the first down, but out to the 26-yard line.
Isn't it funny how the game goes in cycles? A while ago, Minnesota's pass rush was getting to Morton, but now...
You see that block Mulaney out on that?
Right here, they had everybody blocked out. Morton's got all day to throw the ball, and he gets it into his back.
See, 77 came in much too late. He was blocked up beautifully.
Good job the offensive line for the Broncos are doing. A makeshift offensive line, if you will. Stetter to right tackle from Minor. As we watch Tony Reed barreling up the middle for another Denver first down behind another backup man in there at center. Billy Bryan was hurt, and Glenn Hyde has been performing all night.
There are the third quarter statistics. Denver still dominating. Total yards 241 to 165. Denver with 2 turnovers. In time of possession, if you feel that's critical, the priority goes to Denver.
But also, Denver has 106 yards rushing in the third quarter. That's they're getting the ground game going pretty good with that.
They've got some very steady, not spectacular runners in Preston and Parros, Canada and Reed. And this time we'll watch Preston, left side. And again, good yardage. Perhaps 6.
And
Get there by McNeil.
And Minnesota sees them trying to run the ball down their throats. That time they blitz Matt Blair. When they're running against you, you want to blitz your linebackers to clog the holes. Minnesota tried to do it there and really didn't do it.
Tony Reed now comes in, replacing Dave Preston.
It's an old cliche of the sport. Yardage you make on first down. Right now, Denver's doing it. Look at how
pretty good balance.
Yep. There's not a Dorsett on the carload, but they're getting it done.
5 backs.
2nd down and 4. Play action by Morton. Again, all the time in the world, Odoms is open. And Craig Morton looking all over the field, finally spots number 88, hits him, First down inside the 40-yard line.
He looked the entire field over. He wanted to go down the right side to Steve Watson. He was covered. Finally, he came back to Riley Odoms, who was wide open on the left side.
I'll tell you, he had time to look over to Danny Reeves and say, who would you like?
Here was 2nd and 4. Minnesota expecting run, and look at the line block. My goodness. Throws it down the field. Odoms gets open, makes the catch. Much too much time for him to throw the ball from the Minnesota standpoint.
22-yard pickup. Matt Blair had been with Odoms. He probably could not believe that Morton had that much time. He let him go.
Yep.
First and 10, 39-yard line. Denver with the 3-point lead. This time the handoff is Parros. Big opening right side, and Parros inside the 15.
This Denver team is putting on a show. Look at the fans respond.
They've been here before, however.
I'll tell you, this is some impressive drive, though. They have taken that and just dominated the line of scrimmage, opened big holes, protected the passer. When you dominate the line of scrimmage like that, you move the football.
Parros with the big gainer, a 4th-round pick a year ago, missed the entire season. Basically, he's a rookie. Knee surgery last year. 25-yard pickup. First and goal, 14-yard line. Handoff again, Parros, right side, struggling for yardage inside the 10. He's in the arms of Scott Studwell, and those are big arms.
You never heard of him, did you? Rick Parris, Utah State, as Frank just said, out for virtually a whole year. Still a rookie, probably in real net effect.
Yep.
And the leading ground gainer for the Denver Broncos this year.
Parris at 5 more, 2nd and 5.
Nothing fancy. They're just lining up and going after Minnesota's defensive line.
Craig will try and quiet the crowd. Fortunately, a partisan crowd, and they do settle. The toss is Preston. Preston almost winning the sprint to the corner, but he steps out of bounds near the 5-yard line, short of a first down.
And Craig Morton saying, send in the big boys because we only got about a yard to go for a first down.
Yard and a half, maybe.
And here they come. Danny Reeves said, okay, Craig, I'm going to send them in if that's what you want. You're a little bit older than I am. You must be wiser.
10:48 remaining in the game, and Denver is on top. 6-3, and they are threatening. As a matter of fact, Danny Reeves is only 1 year younger than the new owner of the Broncos, Edgar Kaiser Jr.
Yeah, the old man is Grady Alderman, the general manager. He's all of 43.
Out here, they call him Grandy Anderson.
Grandy Anderson. All right. Big play here, both sides.
Canada and Lytle the setback.
He's going to run it.
Canada. A collision time, and this will depend upon the surge. I think he's short of the first.
He is short of the first, Frank, and it's a big decision for Dan Reeves.
I would think, and I'm glad that Dan has to make the decision, and I don't have to pay the consequence for it. I would think he might go for it.
In comes Steinfort.
Nope, he's going to kick it, and he's probably wise to do that. You take your points.
And now timeout has been called.
He wants to think about it. I don't blame him. I think about it too.
Denver has now used 2 of the 3 timeouts here in the second half. They're going to talk it over, and we're going to be coming back to Denver in a moment.
Here's how I talk my...
He's aging quickly.
He showed me something.
The profession will do that to you. Rob Lytle, good effort. That offensive line for Denver has been spectacular tonight. It's a makeshift line because of injuries to Claudie Miners. Studdard has moved to the right. They brought in Kelvin Clark. They lost their center. Let's look again.
Well, everybody's stacked up in the middle. Another gutsy coach to pitch the ball out. Seaman has a shot at him at the 6-yard line. He misses him. Preston breaks the tackle and goes in. Lytle, excuse me.
Steinfort. Block. And guess who?
Blair.
Matt Blair. That is his 18th block of a kick in his career.
Which he's obliterated the record that Alan Page had. I think Alan Page's record was 14. And Matt Blair's just got 18. That's rather amazing, Giff.
It's routine for Matt Blair. But Denver is out in front 12-3.
Experience, no job.
Fred Steinfort will kick off. Eddie Payton deep for Minnesota. Minnesota unable to put up the 6 points, represented by a touchdown. They have just 1 field goal to their credit, and they are down 12-3. And Steinfort is really juiced up. He hammers it out of the end zone. He is back.
You're right.
Yeah, he's almost as stoked up here as Howard is in this press box. Howard liked that fourth down.
He liked the call.
He
really
did.
did.
See that.
All right, here it is. He's pitching out to old Lytle. You'll watch Seaman come in. He has a shot at him. The 6. Breaks that tackle. Breaks Hannon's tackle. Gets into the end zone. Huge play for the Broncos.
The option that Danny Reeves had to be considering was he has the best defensive team in the NFL. If he were to kick the chip shot for the field goal, then Minnesota, who had been unable to score a touchdown in 3 quarters and 5 minutes, would have to score a touchdown to move ahead. He made the right decision. 1st and 10. Kramer, the short shot to Ted Brown. Down goes Brown in the arms of Tom Jackson. Gain of a couple.
I tell you, those Denver linebackers, they are really everywhere.
But you know what they're doing well? Here, many times the Minnesota backs will catch the ball, make a juke on the linebacker and get big yards, or break the tackle and get big yards. The Denver linebackers are sure tacklers. They're making the tackle for a short gain, in this case 3 yards.
3 wide receivers now for Minnesota. Keep in mind, Tommy Kramer is a master in just this, his 5th year at bringing a team from behind.
That he is.
San Diego will tell you about it earlier in the year. 2nd down and 8. Flag is down. Should be holding. The pass intended for LeCount.
I think you're right, Jeff. I think it is holding.
I'll tell you that Aaron Kyle is playing a great game.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Minnesota will be backed up.
Jeff, you made a good point. Tommy Kramer's so competitive. He's never out of the game. The Cleveland Browns remember him last year, too, and he took his team 80 yards in 21 seconds with no timeouts.
With the Ahmad Rashad catch.
Yes, it was.
Good. It was also a lot of luck with a little bit.
Yeah, but
really good use of the hands in the 73.
That's Ron Yeri.
On the right side for Minnesota.
Ron Yeri's been there forever.
It's 2nd down, 17.
2nd down and 20. The league leader in receptions, Ted Brown.
51 receptions. Can you believe that?
And
he's on the pace for 100, Jeff.
We are just past half this season. Kramer under pressure. This one will be picked off by Aaron Kyle. And Kyle breaks the tackle of Sammy White, and he's bringing it upfield.
My goodness.
Aaron Kyle electrifies this crowd once again. To the 18, missed tackles, and Kyle has Denver within the 20-yard line of Minnesota, and Kyle is playing some game tonight.
He really is. He's having the biggest game he's had in the NFL. And they're watching in Dallas. They remember him well.
Dallas tried to sneak him through. Let's watch again.
There goes Tommy throwing the ball deep downfield. He's got Sammy White deep down the field, but he overthrows him. Kyle gets it. Sammy White's the first one to miss a tackle, and then the Minnesota offense forgot to know their own defense. They don't rally to the ball. There, Rashad gets blocked out. Hamilton misses. LeCount misses. Jerry misses.
And Denver 1st and 10, 18-yard line. Hand off. Carlos. Actually, Dallas really wanted to keep Kyle. He'd been hurt a couple of years. They put him on waivers when they had to activate another player, and they didn't feel anyone would pick him up. And Denver did, the 8th week of the season last year. And he has been a big difference for Denver tonight and on their defensive unit all season. Gain of 2, it'll be 2nd down and 8. Valuable seconds ticking away for Minnesota. No matter how you put it together, they have to score twice. And they have been struggling all night. Morton. Wild shot, Watson, 11th touchdown of the year. And credit Craig Morton, who once again stood there like the stoic he is.
You just don't see a more courageous quarterback than one Craig Morton. He's been hit, beat, and battered, dragged off the field tonight. One more time, he stood in there to the last possible second and delivered an absolute strike to Steve Watson. This crowd has gone crazy.
And, well, you can understand it here in ISO.
On Steve Watson, watching down the field. He'll just make a little move to the outside. Running on John Turner, gets the inside position. Screens Turner with his body, makes the catch.
Steinfort. And the crowd will cheer every move of the Broncos from now on.
When Craig Morton has a good thing, he will use it again and again and again. And that's the story of Steve Watson. Craig Morton has a good thing. We'll be back. Again.
Blow away. I'll tell you, the senior set around the country loves this. 17th year, Craig Morton knocked out of the game, came back. But we must also credit great defensive play by Denver tonight. Steinfurt bangs it deep.
He won't run that back.
And once again, Minnesota unable to bring it back, and they'll have possession of the 20. Let's watch Morton again. Watch how long he stays there.
Right, he fakes the run to the line. Watch Craig. He'll sit there, wait and wait and wait and wait, and then deliver it. Delivers a strike right into Steve Watson. It's a touchdown all over again. Watch Morton's reaction after Blair gives him a little nudge on the shoulder. There he goes. He's excited.
11 touchdown receptions for Watson.
Look at here.
37 receptions on the year. The Denver Bronco record is held by Lionel Taylor of 12 touchdowns in a given season. And Watson, well, let's say he's got almost half the season remaining.
He's going to pass that. Hello, Craig. You're too much.
1st and 10, Minnesota. They're down 19-3.
Here comes Tommy.
LeCount. And LeCount is out close to the 40-yard line. Minnesota first down.
There is no quit in this Minnesota team, and there's no quit in Tommy Kramer.
And there's no quit in LeCount. If you look at his performance against San Diego, it was simply incredible.
I'll tell you, 2-minute offense already.
Yep.
The formation is already set, and then he gives them the call from the line of scrimmage. Complete. Sensor. Big yardage. Sensor gets another first down to the 47-yard line. And again, hurry up offense. And one thing this does, it almost prevents Denver from getting into a pass defense, but now a man is down on the field.
It does keep them from switching their defenses up, disguising their defenses, which they've done so well tonight. And that's Marty McDowell.
Marty McDowell, the rookie out of Mississippi State, is the injured Minnesota Viking, and it does not look good. 7:47 remaining in the game, and we'll be back in a moment.
The new veal parmesan specialty sandwich at Burger King is delicioso.
Oh, just wait until you see our new delicious specialty. Tasty tender veal, topped with sauce and cheese. Try it, you'll love every bite. Go on, try it, delight your appetite. It's smothered with sauce and dripping with cheese and loaded with veal. May I have a bite, please? No one can resist your parmesan as good as this. Make it special, make it Burger King.
Welcome to the Buick School of Performing Arts and its most distinguished graduate, the Buick Riviera. With front-wheel drive, four-wheel independent suspension, most every power assist imaginable standard. And for power, a sophisticated V6 or optional V8 or diesel engine. Buick's Riviera, a real driver's education. Classes start at your Buick dealers now.
Marty McDowell, and wisely so, because Randy Gradishar had taken the exact path for the interception.
But starting the 2-minute offense when the Vikings did is reflective of why Bud Grant is a very special coach.
Absolutely.
A great coach. He brings his team to training camp late. He does everything in an unorthodox way, but he's ahead of the game, and his record proves it. He's a remarkable coach.
He won in Canada big. He's won here in the NFL big. When you talk about great coaches, there are none greater than Harry Peter Grant.
Tony Galbraith, then, number 32. He's a good receiver, acquired from New Orleans. Hasn't played much this year, but he can catch the football. Going for a shot, and he comes down with it, and he struggles to the 10-yard line. And Minnesota battling with 6:35, and the clock is moving. Kramer was shaken up, but he's running upfield to get in the huddle.
And that was a great play by Rashad.
Watch Kyle.
Aaron Kyle he's all over him.
He's got the interception. Watch him go through Kyle's hands.
Yep.
Kyle had the interception. Tremendous concentration by Rashad, which he's used to doing anyway. He makes those catches routinely.
First down, Minnesota, 10-yard line. He adjusts, Tony Galbraith. Here comes Galbraith. Galbraith cuts back, gets to the 6-yard line.
The reason Galbraith has played so sparingly is numerology at New Orleans exactly opposite that at Minnesota. So he's been learning. There's a troubled Dan Reeves.
And also he's playing behind Ted Brown, and Ted Brown doesn't come out very often.
Second down at the 6-yard line. Kramer.
He's got it.
Galbraith close to the goal line. They'll mark it short. Galbraith is in there because in the final 2 years in New Orleans, he caught 15 passes. He is a good receiver.
Maybe the very best in the league coming out of the backfield, including Ted Brown.
Now, Minnesota still a no-huddle offense. From that part, you think you're going to run the ball in from there, but I think Tommy's going to throw it. Let's see. He's telling Galbraith what to do.
Galbraith, touchdown, and Minnesota, who went 3 quarters and 5 minutes without a touchdown, still has 5 minutes and 7 seconds remaining, and they have shortened the lead.
Well, we said they had no quit on them to go into a no-huddle offense and drive the ball, what, 65, 70 yards, get it down, going for a quick touchdown. They're back in the game.
One might ask, why don't they do this all the time?
I don't think you keep the pace all the time at that level.
I'll tell you,
think of the pressure it puts on the defense.
This is a fun game, Frank. This is a good game.
It's a good football game.
Dan Meyer for the conversion. Keith Nord is the holder. Dan Meyer drills it through. And now Denver's lead is cut to 9, 19-10. And what a show Tommy Kramer put on. In his 5th year, he has become not only gifted at what he does with his arm, with the way he moves a ball club, but he has become absolutely the man who can withstand the pressure, never losing his cool. And if you want a quarterback, that's one of the qualities you must have.
You know, so many scouts go out and look for quarterbacks that got the big guns, the big arms to throw the ball so hard. Tommy Kramer doesn't have the big gun, but he's got a feel for the game. He's a competitive guy. He's got great leadership, and that's what scouts should look for in a quarterback, but seldom do they. That's why they said Mark Herman was a 4th-round draft choice, but he didn't have a big gun. Mark Herman, the coaches here think, will be a great quarterback because he's got a great feel for the game. He can locate receivers. He's got good vision and good leadership.
I'll remind you what I said earlier. In 39 starts, Tommy Kramer has won for Minnesota 7 times, coming from behind in the final 2 minutes. He may have another shot. Denver is thinking onside kick. Keep in mind, too, that Minnesota must score twice. A touchdown, a conversion, and a field goal would do it. And Denver is thinking onside kick. And they did this successfully to beat San Diego earlier in the year, late in that game, to beat San Diego 33-31. They got the onside kick.
Key thing in that last drive, though, is that Rashad reception.
Absolutely.
When Aaron Kyle was all over.
Well, Aaron Kyle had the interception, went through his hand.
If Denver watched the movies of the San Diego game, they think that Dan Meyer will kick right.
But I don't think
where Terry LeCount is.
I think, well, they are going to onside kick, and I'm surprised. They are going to do it, though. No, they're not. I didn't think you'd onside kick.
And deep is Mike Harden. And Harden gets out to the 30-yard line. And now the job for the Minnesota Vikings to shut off the Denver defense. And let's go back to look at that reception of a shot we talked about a moment ago.
And here it is. I think it was a 3rd down play. Tommy Kramer's getting pressured here by Rulon Jones. He's hit. He throws it downfield. Watch. Kyle come in for the interception. Went right kind of through his hands. Rashad kept his concentration, made the catch.
Couldn't have a better evidence of why Rashad is so great.
Oh, he's magnificent.
There he is.
Over the past 5 years, he is the leading receiver in the NFL. And many of them came from your arm, Fran, on 1st and 10. Rick Upchurch, screen right. And Upchurch. Good yardage.
Right. How do you like that call?
By about a yard. Matt Blair there defensively.
Frank, how do you like that call by Dan Reeves?
I'll tell you, it's working, and it's working against a tremendous linebacker in Matt Blair.
Well, what he's doing, he's throwing it out, getting studded out in front of Upchurch. If Upchurch had taken the outside cut there, so easy to say from here, he could have got a lot of yards.
Our word from the Minnesota bench is that Marty McDowell, the rookie from Mississippi State, has a twisted knee.
I'll tell you, these teams are well-coached teams, and the coaches are great game night coaches. They're doing some kind of job, both of them.
4:15 remaining in the game. The clock is moving. 2nd down, a yard and a half to go for Denver. Tony Reed, left side, and he's piled up short of the first down. It'll be third down and about a yard.
This first down is critical, obviously.
For both teams. Randy Holloway there, who's replaced Doug Martin in that position tonight, and he's played awfully well. He made a big play there. And Dan's coming with his big guys like he's in the short yardage, a goal line situation. He wants desperately this first down.
Well, he is in rather a short yardage situation. Third and perhaps a yard. He's got the 3 tight ends in. That's the short yardage offense Fran spoke of. Larry Canada, this one at 226 is in there, number 35, and Rob Lytle, number 41. Those are the setbacks. Lytle. Close, but I do not believe he'll get the first.
I don't think he did either.
I think not. I agree.
Very close. This will be totally dependent upon how it's marked.
Well, I don't think he got it.
Nope. And now, I think you must kick away if you're Denver.
Yes, you got to kick.
You've got the #1 defense in the league. They'll bring out the yard markers.
Now, Howard, you might go for it in this situation. Would you?
No, not this time. This time Frank is right.
Look how close. Look
last
how
time
close.
Frank was wrong.
Look how close.
You put it so well.
Crowd wants him to go for it, but that's absurd.
Well, let's see what he's going to do
got
here.
3 minutes, 20 seconds left. They got to kick away.
He's not going to kick. He's going to go for it, I think.
Well, he's playing the kind of football they love in Colorado if he goes for it. And
He's
that's
going
exactly
for
what
it.
he's going to do.
All right, Dan Reeves.
Other than the possibility they might go for a long count, knowing that the Minnesota defense will have to be tense.
Yeah, that's possible.
A 5-yard penalty would not necessarily affect them too much.
I'll tell you, this is fun, boys. This is fun. It's a chess game going on out there between Grant and Reeves.
Meanwhile, the seconds are ticking off. In this play, they'll have to hurry. And now they know they can't get the play off. And Craig Morton calls timeout. And Denver has no timeouts remaining. But perhaps Craig Morton has used them wisely. He's done little wrong tonight. Rather than making the error, and I'm going to go back to Red Miller, I think he had a great influence on this man, Craig Morton. When he came here in 1977 and led them to the Super Bowl, Red Miller just absolutely cut Craig Morton's interception percentage in half. He taught him the value of not making the big mistake, not coming up with the turnover. And you see it in the absolutely mature quarterback, Craig Morton. Again, Denver is out of timeouts. Minnesota has their 3, and they have one of the fine hurry-up offenses in football, as we just witnessed a short while ago.
All right. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. All right.
Fourth down, you saw how much.
Whew, this is fun.
They've been using Lytle. They have also Canada. And Canada
he didn't make
gets
it.
the call short of the first, and Minnesota will have the football inside the 40-yard line. And this is what you wondered about. They could have kicked it away. Minnesota would have had to start somewhere down around their 20-yard line. Now they need a touchdown and a field goal to win this football game. They have 2:55 and 3 timeouts remaining.
This time you were right. He should have kicked it.
It shows the respect Dan Reeves has for the Minnesota offense and their ability to come back. He did not want to give him another chance, wanted to make his first down. Daring play, daring gamble, didn't work out for him. Minnesota's got a chance to really get back in it now.
And this will be fun to watch because they will go with the hurry-up offense, or their 2-minute drill, whatever you want to call it.
Reverse, reverse.
Here comes the reverse. This is LeCount. The picket line is there. LeCount.
Oh, my goodness.
Down the sidelines. LeCount to the 1-yard line. We've got a different game.
Whoa, I'm telling you.
How do you like this football game?
Oh,
how do you like Bud Grant?
Oh, this is something
What
else.
a call that was.
And it was LeCount against San Diego with 6 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and a recovery of an onside kick that beat San Diego, and watch him do it again.
Kramer got a block on Gradishar. They had him completely fooled. LeCount does a wonderful job of running. Almost scored, gets down to the well, the inch line.
2:44 remains in the game. Minnesota with 3 timeouts. That pickup 39 yards. What a call. Ted Brown, Tony Galbraith. Those are the setbacks. Galbraith once again.
He's got it.
Easy touchdown. And now a conversion by Minnesota, and they are within a field goal of winning it. But Denver, don't count them out. They can play ball control. They've shown it already tonight.
I tell you, that Minnesota's come back so many times this year.
They're unbelievable.
It's unreal what they do.
Rick Danmeyer.
And this is a critical extra point.
Yes, indeed.
Gift. It gets them within a field goal for a win.
Jim Huff is the snapper. Keith Nord is the holder. And Minnesota has now closed the gap. They trail by 2. 2:40 remaining. 3 timeouts remaining. And Denver will once again be thinking in terms of onside kick.
And okay, all right. Give Tommy Kramer his due. Give Terry LeCount his due. Well, what turned this game around? What brought Minnesota back? A man named Bud Grant. He went into the 2-minute offense with 8 minutes left to play. He is showing this league new things, and he's doing it in the most exciting manner possible.
You know, he drives the rest of the league crazy because he takes more time off than any other coach in football.
I love it.
He doesn't keep his staff there to the wee hours of the night. He's amazing in what he does.
Hey, one other thing he does that I like about him, he has been outspoken about the violence in this game. And he is very critical. And one thing you don't see on the part of a Minnesota Viking football player, the unnecessary roughness, the late hit, he will not tolerate it. He doesn't belong to the football, is what Bud Grant will tell you. And no one could agree more with Bud Grant than yours truly.
Regardless
so much of it today.
Regardless of what ability that he might have in a player, if he gets too many personal foul penalties, that player will be gone from Minnesota, and I've seen it happen many times before. He is the boss.
I tell you, you look at him, and he looks unruffled.
He is unruffled.
He's having a good time.
He is unruffled.
He's well aware of what he's just pulled off. He really is.
All right, Gift, do you think he'll onside kick? Knowing Bud Grant at this time, with this much time left, I don't think he'll onside kick. I think he'll kick it away.
He has the 2-minute warning to stop the clock and 3 timeouts. Danmeyer. The shift, not necessarily meaning the onside kick. Well, this time we'll get it. And it's covered at the 45-yard line by Denver.
That's a big play for Denver because regardless of what they do, it establishes field position. Unless they turn the ball over, Minnesota will have to go a long way to get in field goal range.
Dave Preston, Denver had all their sure-handed ball handling types on the right side. Danmeyer, right-footed kicker. They know from the films that that's what he did against San Diego, and Denver is on top of the play. They have the ball, 45-yard line of Minnesota. Their job now, work on the clock, which says 2:36, and do not turn it over.
And they want first downs. Minnesota wants to stop it. Here we go. Boy, this is fun.
Craig will have to hurry, and he gets it off as the 30-second clock goes down, and he is swarmed under. But the blitz was on.
Well, it's interesting.
Martin was there. Blair was there. Studwell was there, and there's a loss. Back to the 49-yard line of 5 yards. And Minnesota will stop the clock with 2:29.
I'll tell you.
We'll give them 2 timeouts remaining, and again, they'll be working with the 2-minute warning.
Frank, if we can get a game next week between Buffalo and Dallas, and that figures to be a great matchup, Frank Lewis, Butler, Ferguson, Cribbs against the Cowboys, who came into their own yesterday with that throwing victory over the Eagles. If we can get a game next week like this game, we're on a roll, I'll tell you.
Dallas and Philadelphia, of course, tied top of the Eastern Division of the NFC. And, of course, Buffalo battling. They're a half game back of Miami in the Eastern Division of the AFC.
You know, what you've got here is Minnesota, that time, crowded the line of scrimmage with 9 people. They left 2 cornerbacks man-on-man with the 2 wide receivers. They're saying, Denver, we're going to dare you to try to put the ball in the air. We're going to stop your run. It's exactly what Minnesota should do. Denver, on the other hand, has the option. Either run into that teeth of that defense and know they're not going to get a first down, or take not even a big risk and throw it to the wide receiver for a possible touchdown, because he'll be man-on-man. Just watch the strategy unfold.
Morton, you saw his numbers a moment ago. Maybe the key one, no interceptions. 2nd down, 15.
And they're blitzing.
Upchurch in motion. There's the pursuit, and Morton had to hurry the pass to Parros. It'll be 3rd down and 16. The clock shows 2:25. Doug Martin pressuring Morton once again.
It's really not the kind of pass you want to throw against a blitz. Play pass is no good against a blitz. The linebackers will get to you. Also, when you blitz, you get a safety man on your back coming out of the backfield, which is the case of Hannon that time. Not a good play selection in that situation.
Not only that, incomplete, kills the clock. All the time in the world for Minnesota, all they need is a field goal.
Right to the line of scrimmage, 3rd down, 15. Watson split to the right with 3 wide receivers. That includes Haven Moses in the game for Denver. Here comes the pressure. Morton hangs it up for Watson, and this time overthrows as Watson was dueling Walt Williams, and it'll be 4th down. Minnesota will get the football back, and they'll have plenty of time, and they'll have 2 timeouts.
But that time they did the right thing. They had man-on-man. They blitzed again against the cornerback. Watson was open. Craig just didn't get him the ball. If he'd have gotten him the ball, touchdown, game's over.
Tell you, Reeves is getting an education. The brilliant young coach against the brilliant old master.
There's Eddie Payton. Minnesota will attempt, of course, to block the punt. One of the best in the business. We've already talked about Matt Blair. Rustridge takes no chances, hurries the punt. Eddie Payton now moves away from it, and this will die inside the 15-yard line. And Minnesota, realistically, will have to move the ball somewhere close to the 30-yard line for the foot of Rick Danmeyer to pull this game out. 2:09 remaining, 2 timeouts, and the clock will stop with the 2-minute warning.
The score was 19-3 with 8 minutes left or thereabouts. What would you have given for Minnesota's chance?
I said they had a chance, Howard. Somebody up here said no chance. I don't know who it was. Who was that who said that?
Frank.
It wasn't Jeff, and it wasn't me, but I don't know who it was up here, but it was somebody. It wasn't Steve Pazinka either.
1st down, 10. Galbraith faked the reverse that they used so effectively earlier, and Galbraith battling down the sidelines, and he gets out of bounds and stops the clock. And that will give Minnesota 1 more play before the 2-minute warning. They can use that play and avoid using a timeout.
Isn't it interesting that he's using Galbraith in this situation and not Ted Brown? And he's had him in the last 2 key situations.
That is interesting.
There he is. I told you about the 115 receptions in the past 2 years with New Orleans. His rushing output came well down last year to 300. He had been rushing for 500 and 600 a year. Galbraith over the 25, gets the 1st down, so we get the 2-minute warning, and Minnesota will have a 1st down and 10. The ball will be just over their own 20-yard line. They'll have 2 timeouts remaining, and they need a field goal to win. We'll be back. We hope you're watching all over the country one of the most interesting football games I think we've ever had on Monday Night Football. We had no scoring, no touchdowns until the 3rd quarter. And all of a sudden things have erupted. Minnesota couldn't get a touchdown until 3 quarters and 5 minutes. They put together 2. They still have 1:57 on the clock. They have a 1st down and 10. The ball at their own 20-yard line, and they have 2 timeouts remaining. It's been exciting. Ted Brown has replaced Galbraith. He's a single setback. Kramer. Sensor. And it's complete. Sensor has another 1st down, this time out to the 36-yard line.
I tell you, Bud Grant And we talked about it during the break. Bud Grant simply must have a feel. Suddenly, Galbraith is playing and not Ted Brown. And Galbraith has become a consequential figure in this late drive.
Well, he got another field because he's taking him out.
Okay.
But he is something. He knows how to use his personnel. On 1st and 10. Kramer, complete. Whoa, Sensor trying to get to the sidelines. He cannot do so. Hurry up offense. Plenty of time, however.
Yeah, the clock will not stop Minnesota. If they're to be stopped, Denver will have to do it because he's got plenty of time, plenty of timeouts, and plenty of time on the clock. 1:32 and counting.
And they have a field goal kicker. That is 13 of 14 on the year. Rick Danmeyer. Minnesota down by 2. Kramer into a crowd, and this almost picked off defensively, and a flag goes down now. A late flag, and Tommy Kramer indicates it's against Denver.
Against Denver, roughing the passer.
There's Danmeyer, his longest effort of the year, and he is, as I said, 13 of 14. His longest effort of the year, 45 yards.
You know, when you get it going your way, you get it going your way.
Got it. They got it going that way. 2 timeouts left. Minute 20 seconds left.
Oh,
look at this.
Yep.
They're almost there.
Here's Fred Wyant.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 75. First down.
Rulon Jones, the best pass rusher for Denver. Over eager. Those are the kind of penalties you do not ever want. Youngster, second-year man, Rulon Jones, out of Utah State. 1st and 10, Minnesota. Inside the 35 now of Denver. Drawing to within range of Danmeyer. This is Brown. Gets more yardage this time. Down to the 27-yard line as Steve Foley is there defensively.
Jeff, a thing to remember here. Danmeyer doesn't have the greatest range in the world, but you're here in the mile-high city. The air is thinner. The ball carries better. He'll have a lot more range here than he does in Minnesota.
It's one of those 43% relative humidity nights. The ball will travel. We've seen it in and out of the end zone on kickoffs. Here comes Ted Brown.
Oh, he
is smacked by Tom Jackson. And now, Minnesota will use one of their timeouts. They have 1 remaining. Tommy Kramer will move over, and Bud Grant will discuss fishing, hunting, such things as that. He keeps everything in priority, I'll tell you that.
Well, in Minnesota's case, with 1 more timeout left, they got to save that timeout to get in position to kick the field goal. But they've got plenty of time, 44 seconds. They can run a couple of plays before they have to use that timeout.
They also want to use up the clock enough so that if they make it, Denver has no time to come back.
And on the Denver side, they have no timeouts left. If they got the ball, they're in a lot of trouble.
A loss by Minnesota tonight, and they fall into a tie with Tampa Bay in the Central Division of the NFC with 5-4 records. A win by Minnesota, they will be 1 game ahead of Tampa Bay.
John Denver and Alvin Pete Rozelle, the commissioner of the National Football League, here for the occasion. John?
Excuse me, I think this is rather interesting. Denver, should they lose tonight, they will drop 1 game behind Kansas City and San Diego, and very close to Oakland that is starting to make a move once again. 3rd down and 3. Ted Brown, down he goes. It'll be 4th down. Well, Harry Smith, fine defensive play, decision time now for Bud Grant. Tommy Kramer looked over, indicated, do we kick? Bud Grant knows full well the capacity of Rick Danmeyer, and it would be right on the limit if he had to kick from this point.
Well, he's going to let the clock run down. He's going to let him kick the ball. He's going to let it run down the full 30 seconds, which will run it down to about 2 seconds on the clock.
You know, they do this over and over, but they run this clock down to 1 or 2 seconds. You wonder why they don't run it down to, say, 6 or 7 seconds in case the snap is bad and the holder has to fall on it and then get a chance to kick it again.
Not on 4th down, Giff. 4th
You're
down
right.
would be all over.
I said, I wonder why they don't do it, though. I got my answer.
Well, let's look here, Giff. How long
Now, what was it that he did it the other day on a 3rd down? They ran it down to 1 second.
I tell you, win or lose, what a comeback by Minnesota.
Well, this is a 46, 47-yard effort. What's his longest for the year?
45 on the year. He's
well,
13 of 14.
You know, this is a stretch for Danmar's range in any place other than Denver, Colorado. And Denver, Colorado, this is within his range.
That's right. Jim Turner proved that all the years old High Shoes was kicking for distances that he never achieved when with the Jets.
Well, here we go. My goodness, what a great game.
Again,
whatever way.
Jim Huff is the snapper. That's so important, his role. The man who holds the ball, Keith Nord. He'll have to get it down quickly because this ball will have to leave the foot very low. Short.
Nope, that's short.
Ball game is over, and Denver has moved into a tie with Kansas City and San Diego with their victory tonight, a 19-17 effort. Credit their defense and a great effort by Craig Morton. There is the man that was knocked out of the game earlier, came back to pull Denver up. And there is a man that came so close once again to pulling disaster out. That's Barry Schuster.
What a great game. And look at that man. Congratulate him in defeat. He is a brilliant coach. Extraordinary. And what a great game for Dan Reeves to win.
And now Cleveland will be here in Denver. Once again, the final score 19-7.